more short stories. Not that I don't read novels too, but and when I say read, I also mean listen because I do Audible and I do audiobooks and stuff. But I was telling Gary, I'll read through a story like that and I'll hear a cool. That could be a character name, right? Now I'll get on my phone on Google Keep and I got my file and I'll type it in there, or some little idea or situation or location pops in, and I'm always plucking stuff out from stories and things. So
I did order something cool earlier this week because I'll occasionally troll half price books for books that I want to grab and read, and they had they had a 20% off sale this week, which was cool, but they had very reasonably priced copies of Clark Ashton Smith's Tales of Zothic and the Book of Hyperborea, so I picked those up.
Is it Zothic for sure? Because I've always been saying Zothic.
I have no clue. Zothic, whatever. We could ask him, but I'm pretty sure he did. So,
hey, speaking of that, you reminded me of Hyperborea and Clark Ashton Smith. So the other night, last time we played Hyperborea, I'd done something, but I called out Jeff Delaney on the tweet on X, right?
Yeah.
And he answered back or something. And then he and I were going back and forth about some book the other day, and I'm like, I'm going to go meet this dude over at North Texas. You and I are going to play in one of his games, Dan. I don't know if he's running it or not. I'm not sure who's running that game, but I do want to go talk with him and meet him and maybe have him on and talk about Hyperborea because, I had no idea how well loved this game is until you started running it for us.
I mean, he's on the Northwind Adventures Discord. But
there's some people here I don't know. If you guys haven't. So the three of us and some other friends like Lord Mattias and folks from some other channels, we play a Monday night game here on my channel, and Jeff will usually put it on Death Angel Shadow, and Dan's trying to get his channel up and going. Anyway, we're playing Hyperborea right now, Anthropophagy of Zambala. Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. But find out there's all these closet Hyperborea fans, or maybe not closeted.
I find Hyperborea fans to be pretty vocal about their love for that
game.
Yeah,
maybe it's just it wasn't, how the algorithm works, right? If I wasn't swimming in those waters before, I wasn't seeing all that. Now I am, and now it's like,
yeah. How do you guys? Do you ever find Hyperborea slightly overwhelming when you look at it? Like, there's so many character classes. No.
I don't know.
I played 2 sessions and I've never ever found it overwhelming.
Yeah.
Hey, the fact that I'm still alive, I'm just happy about.
I'm proud of you.
Sometimes I open it up and it's just like so fun to look at, and the art is so good. It's just
the art is sick.
That is on my list of need to acquire.
That is something I should own physically. The only thing is I don't know that I would play it. Like, I'd get more use out of the Atlas. I would run a BX campaign using the Atlas.
Yeah, you could.
And the monsters and stuff. Oh yeah, all that stuff is so interchangeable.
Yeah, I'm using Hyperborea as a system in one of my games that's not in Hyperborea, and it works fine, obviously. Mm-hmm. I've let people play Hyperborea classes in like OSE. Works fine.
Yep.
So
really
the only thing I do is make sure everybody's like basically using the same hit dice, and that's it. So like if a fighter's a D8, then make the fighter equivalent a D8 or whatever, and bring it in. Otherwise it works fine. So
I agree. Well, it's and that's the beautiful thing. It's something that I'm really kind of just starting to appreciate. I've never considered myself like I'm an OSR guy, I just, because I like other games as well. I'm not going to fly a flag for a particular style of, you know what I mean? It's just silly to me.
Yeah.
However, I was telling you guys earlier, when I'm, searching for things to do, my happy place, it does seem to be BX. And there's just so much when you're looking for anything, you want to buy everything because you can use it. I need to get the Crawford stuff because I can put this in my game. I can do that, just whatever it is. There's just so much out there.
I just bought the expert rules in a PDF, Gary, and I went to FedEx or wherever, and I printed them out in black and white and got them spiral bound. And I was like, because I really wanted the wilderness travel exploration rules in the expert set. But I'll probably get the base. I'll probably get both of the original books at a con or something if I can find them. I know they're a little pricey, I'm sure, if they're in good condition.
I think I was looking on Noble Knight the other day, and I think I found them. They were like fair quality, which is probably the best you're going to get these days.
Like fair trade or?
Well, so they grade their stuff kind of like comic books, right? So there's like mint, good, very good, fine, on down the line.
Yeah.
So you can get like an okay copy. I want to say I found like $50 for basic, $50 for expert. I'm really, what's funny, before all this got expensive, when me, Matt, and Brian were doing our first podcast, back before really Matt was even in the OSR, I was in this phase where I didn't want to touch a D20, and I get this package in the mail during COVID, and it's the shape of an album. I'm like, oh, new vinyl, and it was from Brian. I was like, oh, Brian, this is great, man. I thought he sent me vinyl. I open it up, and inside this record, this vinyl cover, he sent me original. And honestly, as much shit as I give Brian, thanks, Brian. Like, it kind of turned things around. It was like, you know what? Let's give this BX thing another look, and it's been great. So,
hey, DM Bloodworth is here as well. Richard, thanks for stopping by and joining us. If you want, I can send you a link on Discord if you want to jump in here. And we have no plan. We just Gary and I were chatting and on Discord, and it's like, what do you want to jump on tonight? Because our Monday night game is put off tonight. Where some of us are playing Hyperborea together, and we put it off for the holiday. So I'm like, well, let's get on and do something for an hour. He said, you want to do it now instead? Okay.
Hey, Ben, I just read your comment. I would agree with you. It would seem light compared to that. And I wish I could find myself an old 70s Chevy, anything.
Leave it to me to not pay attention. And, I got so many other things I've been working on. Because Dean, Untold Destiny, we're actually going to be doing a stream here this afternoon.
I saw it popped up. Talking about his game?
Yeah, well, we're actually going to be testing it.
Oh, cool.
We're going to do testing it, yeah. So, because I was like, I can't do it at 8 o'clock because I got my stream. And then Dan's like, we don't have a stream tonight, And I'm like, oh.
It was funny. I think James watched Bad News Bards this morning when he woke up, because
he's commenting all over my channel.
because he was like,
timestamps.
He pings me and he's like, Dan, I'm going to talk about OSE today. You want to come on? And I was like, sure. What the hell? If my family's gone, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I love OSE. What do you guys think about OSE changing?
I don't think it's changing that much. I think they're just streamlining it.
Yeah, we were talking about this last night, and I think one of the conclusions is that the difference between the previous printing and the new printing, or since the new printing is going to be coming out, is that Dolmenwood it showed such a different improvement in the layout design that may be one of the main, and it's gotten like accolades for its layout. I think Chubby himself was like, the layout in the original OSE sucked, and this is. Or
he didn't say it sucked. He just said it wasn't as world breaking as everybody says.
Right.
I think if you look at it in the context of when it came out in 2019, it was a pretty damn good layout.
I would agree with. I think at the time, it was. Having been nose deep in the original BX books, they're written fine. The organization is a little. I don't. You know what I mean? Like, there's a few wonky things. There's also, even though I think like Moldvay BX really tried to fix it, there is this weird underlying assumption that you're familiar with at least role-playing games, if not war games. what Gavin did was incredible, and it's still great. It's still great.
Dakota loves it. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think it was a direct comparison to Dolmenwood is that much better in layout.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe you've got what 6-7 years of experience on that now.
But here's what I've been led to understand is that, and I could be wrong about, and I hope I'm wrong about this, but what I've been led to understand is that basically Old School Essentials has kind of created its own culture, its own following. Everybody is playing an Old School Essentials with basically the same options, right? They're using Ascending Armor class, using this. So that the next Old School version of Old School Essentials is going to kind of do away with a lot of the stuff from the basic set, right? It's not going to, like, race as class is not going to be an option.
So my understanding is it's going to be highlighted as optional, but race and class is going to be the default. So what they said on the blog post was that everything that's in OSE Classic will kind of be highlighted in the new books as playable options. And I think they're talking about having Classic Fantasy available as a pod, but I would not be surprised. So like OSE, both Classic and Advanced, for like the X and 6 checks, it's roll low to be good, to succeed, right? Roll a 1 or a 2 in a D6. Yeah. Dolmenwood, they flipped it because people like rolling high numbers. I wouldn't be surprised if that got backported into the new version of OSE for like, the X and 6 checks and that sort of thing. Probably some layout updates. I know they mentioned a few of the rules that they're updating and like just incorporating some errata. So I don't think it'll change that much. But they're really, realistically, OSE Classic came out and there wasn't a way to get print-on-demand versions of the basic and expert sets. But now you can. And really, as soon as they printed Advanced Fantasy and the Carcass Crawlers, they were making their own game. And I think they're just leaning into that more.
Absolutely, yeah. No, and here's the thing. I like all that stuff. I think Dolmenwood, I don't own it. What I've seen of it is beautiful. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think the thing is that OSE right now has the only sort of modern presentation of pure BX rules.
Yes.
Right? That's it. So if that goes away, we don't have that.
Unless you get a reprint of BX.
Right. And
but it's not a modern presentation.
But it's not I'm talking about it because, like I say, I spend most of my time in the original BX books, right? But we have to admit that they're not. The origin is they don't. Maybe they could have done things a little differently and made them more usable. They could have made a more usable book. How's that? Right?
Yeah. But also the presentation of information and how people, like, knowing how people absorb information, like, that's actually evolved since B and X were printed in 1981. So
yeah,
truth.
Like,
well, I think we even touched on that too. There was a lot of changes in each iteration of different publication that was done by TSR back in the day, and some cases it was pretty radical.
Yeah, and different editors had different ways of, or different thoughts on, how best to convey the information. Like the Holmes Basic is different from Old Baycock Basic, which is different from Menser Basic, and not that different, but
yeah.
Beckme, and I've been reading all last night. I was reading the Red and Blue books. I think the only difference I found is there's an extra spell, Detect Invisible. There might be something in the combat sequence, but I have to look at it again. And it wasn't major. I want to say something was switched, but I could be wrong. But they're basically identical games.
They're very, very close. Yeah.
Up until Companion. And the thing about the Companion box, if you look at that, really, it has all the rules for your character to go up in level. But all the extra rules are really shit that your character needed at 9th level.
Yeah.
You needed that in the blue book.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, even that organization isn't great. And I hate the cyclopedia. Lord Mattias, my partner in crime over at Second Watch, will just preach about how much he loves the rule cyclopedia. But that's because he's a lawyer and he doesn't understand beauty or humanity, because that is the ugliest fucking thing to try to work with. Good morning, everybody.
Well, he was in the chat, wasn't he? He said he's got somebody coming over.
He's
got
got
coming
company.
over.
We can talk all kinds of shit. He's going. He's going.
So, Gary, I find myself more aligned with your view on the rule cyclopedia. It is very, very dense, and I guess it's a good, if you had to have that one desert island book, it's like it's got everything you need in one book. But
yeah, well, and that's the thing, is it's has everything you need. But you know, as I get deeper, as I've been in, I mean, I pretty much have BX memorized, even if my application of it is flawed. Like I will still make mistakes, but I've read it so many fucking times, right?
Right.
As I read more Beckme, what I'm beginning to believe is that they just had to keep milking the cow. You know, that really is what it comes down to, because they could have taken rules, they could have taken the cool shit from Companion Masters and put it in one last book. You know what I mean?
Matt's still here.
Yeah, the character class stuff, it's just unneeded. It just doesn't need to happen. BK Gibson, RC achieved its apotheosis in Axe. Mr. Gibson, I would agree with you. Although I want to have an Axe talk, because one of these days on Third Watch, because Axe is one of the first games where I know I'm going to steal from it for the rest of my life for my BX game.
Yep.
But I don't know that I'd run an Axe game. I think Chubby does a great job in our Thursday night game. It's just so much. You know,
I have not run an Axe game. I'm currently in an Axe game, and it's fun. We play every other Sunday.
I'm not sure I'd want to run one. I think I'd love to play it.
I think to get the most out of Axe, you definitely have to want to engage with the first you're an adventurer, then you're a conqueror, then you're a king. Like, if you don't want to get into that high level domain play, you're not going to get the most out of Axe.
Truth. Yeah. Absolutely. You kind of have to follow that path.
Also, I'm playing a venture, and I have a spreadsheet where I'm going to be planning out my my mercantile paths and trade routes, like I'm playing EVE Online.
My first Axe character was a venture. Pura Rama. Pura was too brave.
Yeah.
Pura got beamed and lost a few intelligence and charisma points, and was sent back to his and to eat pudding. But before he left, he stole Tog's kitty, which matters so much less now, because my second character caused a TPK last week and Tog is dead too. So, you know, shit happens. Whatever, man. Fuck that kitty.
That's funny.
What are you running, Shadow? Death Angel Shadow? What are you running these days? What's your game?
Well, right now I'm just playing in Hyperborea that Dan is trying to kill us all in. I had fun running Shadow Dark. I would do that again in a heartbeat. Uh-oh.
Fucking cat won't leave me alone, man.
The cat.
Very rarely,
spray
but
bottle.
every once in a while. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm dying to run some Castles and Crusades. I love those guys. I want to do something in Aired. They've got.
Is it Aired or is it Airday?
It's
Erudite.
It's
Erudite.
The word is erudite.
Yeah.
Aired.
Just like the Astrologer's Tower, where all the erudite folk.
Yeah, I've always heard it called Aired, but I mean Aired Day. I've heard it both ways. So I guess I should ask Steven that. I may have asked him before, and it just kind of, that whole setting follows a very Germanic aspect. If you notice, he talks about the All Father and this and that and the other in the history of it. So hey, Rich.
Hey guys.
We
Hey,
have a guest.
So C&C is something I'm trying to run. They've got the Summer of Siege kicking off here for June, starting in June for the summer. So I'd like to do some streams for that.
Oh, looky.
Sold.
Oh, flip his camera. You trying to get rid of
Oh,
those?
shit.
Sold.
I'll take one.
Nope.
Hang
Sold.
on.
They were set.
I'm the one asking him about them earlier and
Right.
mentioned it on the show. Well, actually, Gary mentioned BX first.
Yeah. No, I have an extra. Somehow I ended up with 2 sets. I bought them and then I got the second set, and I was like, I don't know how or why or whatnot, but yeah, I paid something like I'll let them go less than what I'm bringing a whole bunch of crap to CNY Con. So if you're going to CNY,
Oh yeah,
that'd be awesome.
I'm there.
That is.
Yeah, I'll buy one from you there. So you don't
Yeah.
have to shipping.
Yeah. So like I said, the like I told you how much on the thing, but yeah, that's not a problem. I have a couple things I'm looking to offload there. So I have I'm going to part with my D&D 4th edition set in the sleeve and everything like that. I was only looking for like $40 for that too.
Good luck.
Just a bunch of stuff.
I should get rid of my 4th edition stuff. I actually have the core books and maybe 1 or 2 other things, but that's as far as I got with 4E. I ran a game or session, and we were like, yeah, this is not for us. This is just, if I want to play WoW, I'll go play WoW. I had an account for myself, an account for my wife. We played it all the time. We can go play WoW on the computer. I don't want to play it on tabletop.
Yeah. I just say for me, it's all about shelf space.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm never going to play it, never going to run it, never going to even go through it. And I mean, I might have gotten it for like $50 or $60 on on eBay, which wasn't bad, but especially since it's beautiful. It's an absolute beautiful set. So if I'm bringing it to the con, and if I can get 40 for it, great. If I get a couple other things, like I have the first edition of Adventures Dark and Deep. That I'm not letting go for, like, the whole set. I'm not letting that go for less than 60 because it cost me 40 just for the bestiary, which took me forever to find. And then Joe Block came out with the second edition, which I picked up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll bring it to. I'm going to bring them to CNY and have Joe Block, autograph them. And then I'll be like, right, you got autographed copies, for
increase the value. Yeah, raise the value on them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hunter, are you talking about this one in chat?
Oh,
He's got the hardcover pod of BX.
Yeah.
The file.
Yeah, we got
So,
Davina in the chat too.
I'm
on my
curious.
channel.
I think I know what the answer is to this, but do you guys have rules for collecting or buying physical products, keeping stuff at home? Like at this point, anything that has TSR on it, like a collectible, I'm good with that. Anything that's BX compatible, I'm good with that. But there are some things, like there's some Year Zero engine games that look real interesting, but I'm just not gonna buy.
The only WotC stuff that I would be willing to pick up, and I mentioned this last night as well. I'm missing a lot of the Forgotten Realms stuff, and I'd love to get some 2E Forgotten Realms stuff as well. But I really miss my Forgotten Realms campaign setting book. I think the worst thing that WotC did, the first really bad thing that they did, I guess, was when they decided to shove Forgotten Realms and make it the default setting for 5th edition, because there was a distinction between the races in Faerun and the races in Greyhawk, or the default races that were, in third edition. Forgotten Realms was not the default setting.
Right.
It was maybe the most popular, but it wasn't the default.
Yeah.
And the elves are supposed to be different. I know, Dan, you don't like elves, but
Snooty bitches.
they are very different, and even in second edition, if you allow a player to play a drow, they start 2 levels lower than the rest of the party.
Right.
Because
so the question was about collecting guidelines.
Well, no, I mean, no, but
Yeah.
Sorry, I scrolled a little bit, but the Forgotten Realms stuff is stuff I really would like to pick
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
You don't feel bad when you say the only WotC stuff I want. I'm talking pre-WotC, like.
Oh, I'd love the TSR stuff. I mean, I
Yeah,
tried.
yeah,
to
yeah.
do whatever I can,
My answer to that is I buy it off of eBay. I'm glad to have gotten everything that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will not get it off of Drive-Thru RPG as long as they have the disclaimer. I mean,
Right.
I don't care if it's there cheaper or whatnot. For me, the disclaimer is worth an extra $10 to buy it off of eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And virtually everything, everything that you can get on eBay, with a few exceptions, is still the same price as a modern hardback. You know what I'm saying? It's like it just doesn't make a difference to me as far as the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you let yourself buy? Like, you go to a game convention. Do you have rules on the stuff you pick up? Are you like, no, I'm not. I'll never use that.
I'm more like I would be more apt to buying it at a game convention or from a third-party seller.
Mhm.
That way, the money is not going to WotC.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's a totally different thing. I'll buy it secondhand. I mean, that's like all of the stuff that I have, or virtually everything that I have, is all bought off of, the secondhand market.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of success with eBay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do a lot of eBay acquisitions.
I've had quite a bit of success. I've had good success with Amazon. The DMG that I bought from Amazon, I paid like $50 for it. First edition, obviously, $50 for it, and it came with the wrong cover. It came with the original cover, and it was kind of. It looked like it had some water damage to it, but I mean, it wasn't horrible. And it's still binding and everything was fine, but I was like, this isn't the cover I was looking for. I wanted the easily cover to match all the other ones that I had gotten over the time. And they said, oh, that's not a problem. And they just sent me, they sent me they sent me my money back and said, you can keep it. So
Wow.
I got my first edition for free, and then I was like, all right, the book is fully functional. It just looks like crap, but pages and everything are solid in it, and I'm still use it to today, so it's not a problem.
So I have pretty good luck on eBay looking for. So first of all, high level, Noble Knight has destroyed the aftermarket pricing, the secondary market pricing on everything, because most of their prices are insane, and that translates to eBay, unfortunately. However, I've had a lot of luck on eBay finding auctions that have been up there for a very long time that say or best offer, and just lowballing the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised what people will accept. And to that point, one thing I just got after I learned about it thanks to Matt is $90. It usually goes for like 200 and change.
What is it?
Veins of the Earth for Lamentations of the Flame Princess.
Okay.
When Matt was telling me about this, and he was telling me about the cave generator, because I love generators. I was like, okay, I got to find a copy of this. And then just started lowballing people on eBay. Most people told me to take a hike. Lowballed one guy that had it up there for $300. I was like 90, and he accepted. And I was like, oh snap! Okay, I guess that's mine now. So
I got my demis, deities and demigods 144 for 120, which was a steal at the time. I mean, I was like, holy cow! I mean, that's way that's the most I've paid for any, AD&D first edition hardback.
Mm-hmm.
I paid like $500 for my white box.
Yeah, most of my AD&D hardbacks are first edition ones, and even the second edition ones I have are from when I was a kid. Because when I started playing in 1991, my mom went to work and she told one of her coworkers named Paul, and he was like, "Oh, I used to play that all the time. I'll bring everything. Your son can have it." And he gave me like all his AD&D 1E hardbacks, a whole bunch of Dragon and Dungeon magazines. It was awesome. So,
yeah,
thank you, Paul Callahan, if you're out there somewhere.
Yeah, I paid something like $80 for the Dragon magazine CD, the CD-ROM.
Yeah,
which I actually got to work on my. I actually got it to work on a CD-ROM reader, but then it stopped working. The reader stopped working. It wasn't the disc that stopped working. It was the reader.
I don't even think I have anything that would read a CD-ROM or a DVD in my house anymore.
Yeah, for all of a sudden it just stopped working. I was like, oh, that sucks. I don't think it's compatible with the computer anymore. That was the problem.
Yeah. Got to find an old like Windows 95 computer and install it on.
Well, you can do it in a virtual machine.
Yeah, I know.
We're nerds, so
we'll spare Mike. This is his show.
Yeah, usually if I host the show, Rich, on Monday night, we'll get done. We'll go off live. We're talking back behind this. Before everybody says goodnight, these two will start talking about programming and stuff. I'm like, well, once I found out I could leave the stream as the host and they could keep talking, it wouldn't shut them out. I'm like,
I had that happen one time where I ended up leaving the stream and they kept on going and it was still streaming on my channel. And they were like, wow, you did your first like 7-hour plus stream. I was like, no, we didn't. I was like, there's no way.
So we did the 25th episode of the Bad News Bards, and we went 5 hours and 11 minutes, I think.
Oh yeah, it was funny too because like right about an hour 45, we were starting to wind down, and then Roger hopped on, and we went for 3.5 more hours.
Yeah. Thanks, Roger. Well, that was a rough fun. That was a rough morning though.
Dude, I was struggle busting.
I was too.
I don't stay up that late anymore.
Yeah, my first appearance on Legion of Myth, I was there for like 7.5 hours.
Oh, good Lord.
And I was like, oh, Lord. I was there the whole time. My wife actually woke up and she was like, you can't be seriously on. It's 3:00 in the morning. I was like, oh, my God. I had no idea. I was a freaking mess. Thank God I didn't have work the next day, but I was a mess. Like my back was all screwed up. I had like a sciatic, attack in my ass. I was like, oh, just crazy. I was like, never again.
Oh man, I want this table.
I just arrived. Tell me something.
Hey, Chubby. Greg's here. Good morning.
Awesome. Chubby, we were talking about you.
We were?
Well, I did. I mentioned.
Oh yeah, you mentioned his layout comment.
Yeah. Talking about
Harry and I were talking
Domanwood.
about him early because we were talking about writing stuff. He asked me what I'm writing, and I said Chubby and I had this conversation multiple times about your writing stuff. And then you have a half dozen different works that are in a state of flux, right? That, well, I'm close on this one. Let me get back to that one. And now he does obviously a pretty damn good job of staying focused on target with one thing for a long time.
So
he gets it to the finish line.
Stephen Kennedy did, when I mentioned in passing, Desert Island books, like you only get one. Do you guys have one? One book. It can't be like a set of 3, just one book.
Ooh, I want this. It's okay that it's dirty.
What are you buying?
So I'm perusing Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, geez.
Well, I know you're Mr. Anti-Facebook, but I'm looking for I've been looking for a table that I can display maps on and do some videos with the maps. So basically it's come down that I'm looking for like a drafting table, something that can change the angle on. And
that stuff all over the place, I would think.
That's what?
I'm sure you can find that stuff all over the place pretty easily, right?
Well, yeah. I'm not going to pay new. I could order one from Staples or something like that and pay a ridiculous amount, but I found two of them, and one guy wants $80 and this one wants $60 for the same table. The only difference is it's got paint on it. And I'm like, I can clean up the paint or not even worry about it.
Yeah.
Hey, hang on.
It's this one.
Yeah, hang on a second. The chat, Kyle Dinebreed says, totally looking forward to Dan's Hyperborea 3E game tonight.
Sorry, Kyle.
Yeah, we're not
Next
going to
week.
play tonight because the Memorial Day thing, Kyle. So we'll pick that up next on June 1st, next Monday night.
It's Matt's fault, isn't it?
It's also mine. I'm having my sister and her family come over, and the Midwest Goodbye is real.
Take the day. Hey, while we're talking about that, one thing I stumbled across in a podcast yesterday with Malcolm Geit, if you know who Malcolm is. As it is Memorial Day, and I see Richard's a veteran there. Thanks for the service, Richard, for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Memorial Day, this is a G.K. Chesterton quote. And you probably heard it before, but it's a good one. And he said that the true soldier fights not because he hates what is in front of him, but because he loves what is behind him.
How do I function without my cheekies? I want my keyboard back. Damn it.
And he was, Chesterton was part of that generation that went off and lost all his friends in the First World War at the Somme and other places like that. And it, Tolkien and Lewis and others. But it really hit home, for a lot of us who have military families, or why these people do what they do, and it's not because they hate the bugaboo in front of them. It's because they're trying to protect or hang on to something. There's a couple of other great. I'm a military history guy, and John Keegan's book, The Face of Battle, is a classic. If you read about why men fight, how they fight in combat, and why it's generally for the people left and right of them in their squad, that they know better sometimes in their own family. It's not always for the flag or the colors. Not that they're not fighting for their country or anything, but it's a different ball game. So if you're out and about today and you see one of those vets, I don't always do it, but today's a good day to go tell that vet thanks. And
agreed.
Yeah, my father did not tell me about his wartime experience really until I enlisted in 1990. And then, I knew he had a tough time, I just didn't know exactly all of the story behind it. So he was 19 years old, 1944, D-Day invasion, cut all the way across until he made it all the way to Berlin, and wasn't shot himself until probably about 3 days after Berlin had fallen, and he was reconnecting telephone lines, and some drunk German came out of the house and shot him off the telephone pole. And so that's when he got his Purple Heart. But when I enlisted, he told me, he was like, listen, he said, if you get into a firefight, whatever you do, do not identify the people that you shoot. He says, don't look at their faces. He was like, that was the one thing that froze him up, was the one German that he knew he killed. He ended up going into the trench right next to the guy after he shot him, and he's looking down, and he was like, he couldn't have been more than 13 years old. And he just froze there and looked at it. And then his sergeant came up behind him, realized what was going on, pulled out his .45, blew the face off of it, said, it's nothing but an effing kraut, move on. And my father moved on, and he said, but he carried that face, for, the rest of his time, and he was just like, my father left with gray hair at 19 years old, and about five of his team members killed in one fight. And he was like, just don't see faces. Don't just try to separate yourself from it. I was very, very fortunate that, my thing was over and done with inside 6 weeks. By the time I got there, it was like done. I didn't get there until late January, and we were out by May. And my unit, like my time in there was only 6 weeks. So I did not see any action directly whatsoever. So I count myself lucky in that, but it's just others did not have the same experience, and I give all the credit to them, and and especially those that have passed. That's one thing I do differently with Memorial Day is I don't look at it as if only those that were killed in the line of duty. I extend it to anyone that is buried at a national cemetery. Because they still carried a lot of that with them, even beyond the war itself. And so I just give them all the credit in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went for a walk early this morning with a buddy down the street, and I was heading home, and I heard somebody playing taps in their backyard. Got choked up there for a minute. It was kind of tough. I was like, oh, man. Because, for most of us today is barbecue and cooking, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And then you realize for somebody else, they're remembering today's a tough day.
Yeah.
So, really, really difficult. Let's see. Hey, Kyle. Yeah, I'm going to send you that. Dan, what are we trying to get Kyle? A link for what, to jump on here?
No, for the Monday game.
Oh, for the Monday game. I'm sorry. Hey, Kyle, I'll send that to you on X. Yeah, because we're going to play next Monday, June 1st. We'll pick up session 3. So we'll jump in Hyperborea with us for sure. We'll do. I didn't want him to think I was blowing him off. I'm just not.
And Chubby had a question too. What is the ideal RPG campaign experience?
Yeah.
And what do you wish you had to make it happen more regularly? Geographically convenient friends with open schedules. Because I love playing online with you guys, but there's nothing quite the same as being at a physical table with your buddies and just wasting away, not wasting, but a 6-7 hour Saturday of just gaming all day. So
right,
that's what conventions are for now.
True, but you don't get a campaign at a convention, and I like campaign games.
Yeah.
I just need one more room. I need one more room in my house where I can just set a table up to where I can walk in at any point, leave everything out, and just start running the game with whoever comes by.
Yeah.
Playing. However, I live in the People's Republic of Austin, right in the middle of the city with 3 kids. So that extra room is just not gonna happen anytime too soon. So
we should totally establish just buy a bunch of land in Montana or Wyoming and have a compound.
Don't want to move. It's cold there all the time.
I've always dreamed of setting up like 4 tiny houses around a little fire pit.
Yes.
And have one is just the kitchen house, one is just where you sleep, and then the other 2 are library and gaming tables. That's it, and just have it set up that way. But my wife nixed that. She was like, no, I was like, well, we have 2 spare rooms that, nothing's being done there. And it's like, nope, you can't convert those either, so it's, someday it'll
Ben
happen.
Gibson says back porch gaming is peak. As a kid, one of the places that we played the most, we had a really large yard. It was actually kind of like 6 yards, and sectioned off, and it was odd. It was a weird way to grow up. Anyway, but we had a picnic table. We had one of those old wooden, it's like spools for the copper wire, or you know what I'm talking about? We had a picnic table made out of that. We had a barbecue pit made from a old barrel, cut in half with hinges on it. And we would barbecue and sit at that table underneath the only fucking tree in the yard. Luckily, it was big for whatever reason, it was like the hottest yard anybody could ever have, but the table was underneath that one tree, and we played 90% of our games, around that table outside. It was nice. I liked it. That was good memories. Thanks, Ben. I hadn't thought about that in years, man. Thanks. Had rocks to weigh everything down with, for the wind.
My hope is that as an adult, I can eventually recreate when we were growing up in grade school and as teenagers, where we had campaigns that lasted 7, 8, 9 years, right? So
that
hopefully,
was kind of what I hoped would happen. When I started playing online, I talk about it. I talk about a school bus D&D, right, where the game was always kind of on. You'd pass people in the halls. You'd say, "Hey, what are we gonna, do this?" You get off the bus. Who can go to Gary's house and play right now? And you would just get a game started up, at any moment. And I really kind of wish the internet provided for that sort of thing, but everybody's got a schedule. Everybody's got a life.
Yeah. My hope is that I can indoctrinate my daughter into the hobby, and then whatever friends she makes, I will indoctrinate them, and then I'll be able to run a multi-year-long campaign once more.
You have a plan.
I tried doing that. My kids both my daughters were huge Stranger Things fans, and I went and I got the Stranger Things box set, and I was like, "Look, we can play this together." They were like, "No." They were like, we don't care about D&D. We just watch it for the boys, know. And then I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I opened up that, looked through that box set and everything. What a trash adventure that is in there. I mean, it is unplayable.
Which the first one or the new one?
The first one.
Yeah.
The first one is unplayable. I was like, "What the?" I don't know how that thing came together, but I was like, it's not even a teenager could have done a better job writing that thing. Just doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
But they had no interest in it whatsoever.
So good.
I got this the other day.
Hole in the Oak.
Hole in the Oak. I just got it because I just want to shore up my OSE collection. I really like, I haven't bought anything I don't like from them, but I don't buy a lot of adventures because I typically just steal a map and make my own stuff. A Hole in the Oak makes me want to buy more adventures. Like if they were all laid out like that, and raise it up a little bit. What is that, bro?
That's the
that's what he's talking about. Set.
Yeah, have fun with that.
Yeah.
But
have you opened it?
Yeah, it's open.
Yeah. But anyway, that adventure is great, and everybody should check it out.
Yeah, Chubby's on here giving Gary hell about I won't let him run the Axe 2 game, weekly. So I just joined this game last week and was dead by the end of the session. It didn't take long. Oh, it's a great system, whatever I saw. But
I'm glad that you as well could be the FNG in a Chubby Funster game and then eat
that's not the first time. That's probably about the third time this year.
Chubby, here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. We talked about going weekly with the game, and everybody's got other shit going on, right?
And what do you guys run? What, Monday nights?
Well, they've got a Monday night. We've got every other Thursday night game going. There's about 10 or 11 of us in the server, and about 4 of us show up.
Yeah, well, Thursday night is like a freaking nightmare for me. I cannot get a Thursday night game to last. A campaign to last more than a couple of weeks,
and that's my night. That is my night to game right now. I've got the show Friday. I can game on Thursday. I might be able to pull the occasional Tuesday off, but who's going to play games on a Tuesday? Nothing good happens on Tuesdays. We all know this.
Yeah, that's my solid night. Tuesday is for 4 years. I had the same, anywhere from 6 to 8 players showing up every single Tuesday.
Yeah, and Chubby, it's not just that there are people who have other games. It's that because that's my only night to game, like I want to run a game, right? So if we're every Thursday night on Axe 2, when do I get to run my game?
Monday mornings.
No. I will tell you this. It won't work during the summertime because I'm going to be home with the boys all summer. But during the school year, after we get through like that first month where everybody's got to get sick and all that other kind of shit,
Mhm.
I
I was
would.
warning Dan about that. I'm like, oh yeah,
Oh.
you're gonna go
Oh
through
yeah,
those
you
years.
got yeah from
Dude.
like
Daycare plagues. They're real.
oh
Oh yeah, they are.
and until once school starts until like Halloween, you could be down at any moment. Just
Yeah.
forget about it. But once we get past the flu phase or the shitty going back to school sick phase,
I call it new school year flu.
it's bullshit.
Mhm.
But I could run a daytime game. Like I could run a pretty regular game during the day, but I don't know enough people. All you working folk, man.
I'm retired. I'm looking for a game to play.
Oh, we should figure something out because I do have this summer. I had too many kids. There's no way I could do it.
Yeah.
And I want to spend the summer at the pool drinking and barbecuing this year. The
Well,
oldest boy.
if you ever want to run something every Tuesday morning, I'm actually available most mornings. The only day I'm not available in the morning is on Monday, but most mornings because I don't leave for work. I don't leave for work until 1:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Eastern time. I'm Eastern time, and
Everybody's Eastern time now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, Gary.
Well, when school starts back up, we'll look into it after that, and we'll try to make some. That might be fun to do something during the day. I think.
You know,
Yeah.
That's when I have most
That's
of my.
funny. An early morning game would work great because my company is based in Portland, Oregon.
Mhm.
So like the early morning hours, there it's I could do it being a 2-hour game and it's still 6 a.m. there or 7 a.m.
That
there.
would
They're
be
not on yet.
hilarious. Wake up, take the
I-
kids to school,
Yeah,
come lock in and play some Dungeons and
that'd be
Dragons to
awesome,
start
man.
the game. Bro,
Yeah.
that might be. I've been trying to think of ideas for the Second Watch Patreon page.
Yeah.
What if we had like a weekday morning? Like, hey, if you're a patron, and you're available from 9 o'clock
to
to 11.
Yeah.
yeah,
Bring it.
that's
Do it.
ideal for me. Holy cow, 9 to
Oh
11
my
would be
God.
perfect.
Yeah, as long as it was wrapped up by 11,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
because I start working at 11.
Well,
Work 11 to 8.
we're talking about 9 to 11 central, but I could do
And it
maybe.
is central. You know what?
I could do 8 to 10.
I could do 8 to 10. Like that would
Yeah.
that'd be like having a job, but that's why I do it on Patreon. If I
Two
gotta
hours-
wake up before double digits, somebody better be giving me money. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
I have worked too hard to create this life around me to wake up that early for free.
yeah. That's why my ideal schedule is 11 to 8. I usually wake up about 10:45, take my medicine, get my refill, and head downstairs and ready to go by
Breakfast with
11.
broadswords. I love it.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
interesting idea.
Well, I'm learning to use Owlbear Rodeo now as we speak. I'm typically a very anti-VTT guy, but I'm beginning to think that's because I'm older and I'm getting cranky, and I really don't want to become a grumpy old man.
Too late.
Too late.
Is
Yeah.
it too late? I wanted
Yeah,
to grow up and be a dirty old man.
Hey,
I wanted to be a grumpy old man.
I've been a grumpy old man since I hit 40, and now I'm in my 50s. So
I'm the
I've been
fun
thinking
guy.
about using Restream for running my games. And you can share the screen that, and not using, not doing the mapping and all that stuff. Have my players, if you want to map, you're going to map on a piece of graph paper on your end. And then the only thing I'm using is I'm going to share the screen of the whiteboard from Roll20 and the dice roller. That's it.
So
I mean that's what we use. And actually, I mean, I've done it when I was doing my streams before I rebranded my channel, my Discord server.
Mhm.
We did everything on Discord, and in person, because we had, when I was back in Florida, we were all meeting out in Palm Bay. So it was a once a month thing, but we would drive out there, and it was a whole long day thing. But eventually what happened is my buddy moved up to Knoxville, but wanted to still play. So then we're like, okay, well, we set up Discord, and then I would stream it to Discord, for him, and then I'd also stream it out. Stream the games out. And then I wound up moving up here, and then the rest of them were still back in Florida. So it was kind of like half and half, but it was all in person.
Yeah, but some of us
I didn't know that Discord had a whiteboard.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it. I know it's got dice rollers.
I know it has dice rollers. It's a bot. Yeah, it's a dice rolling bot.
Yeah, there's a bot.
I use
there's
that.
There's probably a lot of them.
I didn't know that Discord has a whiteboard.
I think it does. I'll have to.
Yeah, no, somebody mentioned it. They said use Discord whiteboard. I'll have to look it up.
That's what Lord
I guess it's
Mateus
an
uses.
extension.
I want to say that's what Lord Mateus uses or has used in his
there's
games.
an app for Discord whiteboard that basically gives you an infinite whiteboard. Works great.
And that's.
I'll have to
I'm
look
trying
at
to think I think that's what when I did the Patreon game with Chuck from Troll Lord.
Yeah.
Both times I think that's what he used was the Discord whiteboard.
Have you guys
No,
ever
I'll look it
mastered?
up.
So I'm gonna twist things up. Or if y'all watch my show, you know I do this. I'm gonna change it up. Have you guys used any of the mapping software? And if so, what do you like?
I have a lot of them.
Okay, then which ones do you like?
I like
Which ones-
Wonder Draft and Dungeon Draft because I like software that you pay for it once and then it's yours forever.
Amen.
I'm not like an artiste. My maps are dog shit, but I like that I can, lay things out, put some stamps on the map, export it to a PNG, bring it into either Discord or Foundry or whatever, and works great.
I don't like subscription software. I try to not use it. That's why I like Foundry, but I also have Arkenforge, which is good for doing maps. And
do you feel like Foundry is something like I really don't do anything on my computer, right? I click a button, shit turns on and it works or it doesn't work.
Okay.
Is Foundry too much for somebody?
The Foundry can be as complicated or as simple as you want it to be. It's very
exactly.
flexible. One thing I would say about Foundry is if you want to self-host, you have to know how to forward a port on your router. That would be the most technical debt you would have to solve to host Foundry for your friends.
So
yeah,
as far as map making stuff goes, though, so Wonder Draft, Dungeon Draft.
Yeah, Hexographer is pretty good. It's like a world map creation tool. I got it when it was on sale on like a Humble Bundle or something, and I've messed with it. But
the one I would tell you to avoid that's going to be way more complicated is something like Campaign
Cartographer. Yeah,
that is a CAD level system.
Yeah.
And it is like.
Did you also get the Humble Bundle for Campaign Cartographer?
I sure as hell did. Yes, I have all the crap for it, and I'm like, oh my god, it's like over $1,600 worth sold.
Yeah, for $16. Okay.
I think I went in for the $25 level or whatever it was.
Whatever it was, but
yeah,
Campaign Cartographer is rough to learn, and
I still haven't mastered that. And I'm like, okay, it's great, but it's very, very, very complicated.
Yeah.
Rich, do you use anything? Do you use any mapping programs, Rich?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I just snatch maps off of off the internet. I throw them into Roll20, and then I use hide and reveal as they're going through it. But my last game session, Roll20 crashed, and then I just had the realization. I was like, well, crap. I was just so tied to it that I was like, all right, we're just going to stop early now, because I had everything there, and I was like, no longer am I going to put everything into that one basket.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, nope, I'm going to have physical in front of me, and we're just going to do this, old school. Get a piece of graph paper and just start mapping out and doing that kind of stuff. And it's just, I never used all the tools of Roll20 anyway. All I would do is just import images and maps and things like that. I can do that separately from having their server to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Erudite? Do you use mapping stuff? Any mapping programs?
Depends on what we're doing. I was thinking about this listening. Yeah, I've done all the, I tried Incarnate early on. I used Whataboo for some publishing stuff and make it fit for my zines. And I've also hand-drawn maps and people. I think there's a group of people out there, probably bald ones and ones with gray hairs on their head, which is pretty much everybody here in one way or another, who like to see hand-drawn maps because it reminds us of when I started playing. This is what we did. We sat there and we hand-drew this stuff. And there's a certain nostalgia about it. But if I'm doing solo, which I just said recently, Flint got me inspired to go back and play some solo dark, and I want to do that real soon. But I just sit there and I just draw a map out spontaneously on I have a little graph notebook. And my wife just gave me a Remarkable. You know what these are? It's kind of like an iPad thing. It only does limited stuff, but I can do things and email it to myself or Bluetooth. I can create maps, or I can write pages like a journal thing with a little pen. It's not backlit, like an iPad. It's kind of cool. So a variety of things. But if I had my druthers, I like moving faster in games. And next time I run Roll20 with some of us, I think I'm probably going to go easier. I'm going to opt for easier and faster than getting all hooked up. I don't like the high production value VTTs just because I think that's a whole hobby in itself. And for me, there's no payoff for me. It doesn't do anything for me. So.
Well, so I'm a sucker for pretty things. And I have so the only things I've really screwed with, so Dungeon Draft, here's the thing, I tried Dungeon Draft and it was really for me it was just a little clunky. I need something.
It is clunky.
It was just clunky.
What was the other one that somebody had mentioned that makes really beautiful maps?
Roger mentioned Dungeon Alchemist. I haven't played.
I have Dungeon Alchemist.
I have Dungeon Alchemist too.
Yeah,
and it's nice.
It is nice.
That's the one on Steam, right?
Yeah.
Who's the person guy with the channel that does the mapping? That he does the mapping.
No, but what I will say is that I bought Dungeon Alchemist and I bought Tailspire.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tailspire is like a mapper and a VTT, and as cool as it looks, unless you're one of those guys that wants to do this, whatever scale Death Star Lego, you don't want to get Tailspire.
Yeah,
it is. I
mean, I don't like
literally piece by piece.
I actually don't like the style of it.
Yeah, that doesn't. The style doesn't really. It's whatever it is. But practically, do you really want to spend hours piecing out, 2x2 tiles? It's just too much for most game masters, I think.
Right.
Dungeon Alchemist is a little different. One, it does a lot of stuff for you.
Right.
But I don't know. I think in it, I don't. What's the one, the VTT you said you used?
Foundry.
Yeah, Foundry. Yeah.
But see, Foundry can import from Dungeon Alchemist. It can import from a bunch of other things.
Right.
So
and you get the 3D with.
Well, you can do the layered stuff. So like if you have roofs and stuff like that, it'll support that, or multi-levels and things like that Dungeon Alchemist is doing. I think Foundry can import it. I haven't played with it in too long, but
well, last night I made a city scene from the Veiled Society. Like I said, nobody was home. I was left to my own devices, and I made the street scene, that first street scene from B6. And it was really just a matter of counting boxes, making sure my scale was the same, knocked it out. And it was a usable map. It was a rooftop map. It's like a rooftop chase, or there's a riot in the streets or what have you. It was usable. It took me 15 minutes. So I like it. If you're going to play online, it's a good way to go.
Yeah, Roger says he just used Dungeon Draft to draw the hotel layout for CNY.
Awesome.
I am thinking about investing in a bunch of tokens and assets and everything else, though. I just don't know where to look.
Yeah, so I do have a decent number of assets. Back when I played on Roll20 years ago, I used to buy. I always liked Gabriel Picard and kind of his styling for everything, and he's got like you know, like city sets and wilderness sets and hell and, you know, all sorts of stuff. And they're $5 and you get a whole bunch of PNGs and you can download them. And, you know, use them wherever you want. So like, you know, he'll have like quick encounters. Like, so if you're like, oh, I need a burned forest, just a quick battle map, boom, drop down 30 by 30. It's easy to use.
Hey, Chubby, I don't know which of these can be used commercially. I honestly think that is one of the problems with the cooler VTTs.
Yeah.
Or with the cooler.
Some of them have a license for
Right.
that you have to get.
Yeah, I'd have to research it more, Chubby, but Death Angel's down there using Dungeon Alchemist, and that is really, you can set it to stock it with stuff. You can turn off the props.
I mean, it's cool.
I don't know how to import. There's a top down, so you can do maps in like a top down, and I think those can be imported to Owlbear, and the 3D stuff can go to.
I mean, it's you know, I'm just goofing off with it right now, but
anyway, it's fun. But
I have to run, everyone. You have a good one.
Take it easy, Rich.
All right, Rich.
And I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
I mean, obviously, it's more fun to play at a table with friends, but that doesn't seem to be the life most of us are living these days. You know, so.
Oh, look, it's got bathrooms. You can have a bathroom.
Yeah. And
I'm watching you do this, Jeff, and it reminds me when I was, 2003 or 4, I worked at a telecom company for a while, and they forgot that our little web group was down the hall. They forgot we were there. So we mostly played Quake 3 all day, you know, on our computers, 3 or 4 of us in the group, sitting at our desks. But one of the guys actually mapped out, he went with the early digital camera, shot pictures up and down the halls of most of the offices and rooms. It was only a 2-story building. And he built a map for Quake 3 so we could play. He even had like my Reservoir Dogs poster from the wall and all the stuff that we had in our offices. So we could run around through a virtual setting of our own offices with rail guns, you know, throwing bombs around. It was great. It was a lot of fun. So we all got to move on.
Erudite.
Yeah.
I just copied the link to Restream and I'm sending it to Chubby.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know if he wants to be here or not.
Chubby, it's actually in my Discord if you go to the, I think the Monday night thing.
I sent him a link.
But yeah, you can send him a link. That's cool. Yeah. Come join us.
And if he's got time, I think he's on his phone though. He's been moving, so he might be busy.
He's also got puppy problems, I think, right now.
Yeah, and so if anybody else is here that we know that wants to jump on, your viewers keep going up. That's why those of you, hey, thanks for everybody for coming and watching. I've learned one thing here today, and that's on a holiday. None of us have anything to do sometimes in the morning. I mean, I saw this at Christmas and on other holidays. At some point, you're like, I haven't done anything with my game stuff today. Let me hop on YouTube or Discord and see what's going on. So,
hey,
I would love 6 people to watching on a morning show.
It's not morning anymore. What are you talking about?
Well, morning for me.
For Watcher DM, he's in Vancouver. I saw him jump on here earlier. He's a friend I played Black Sword Hack with.
Yeah, me and Matt
and other games.
Me and Lord Mattias have thrown ideas around about the channel and different things we can do. And just looking at my schedule, I remember I threw out when I'm like, dude, I could do a morning show, but I don't know what I would do on it.
You know what I would? To that point, Gary, and I think I was kicking around with you too a week or two ago. I don't know how Mattias felt about it, but I was like, let's do like a morning after, dissection of Second Watch, like on Saturday morning.
We could do like a hangover show.
I was originally going to call the Friday the Friday stream the pre-gaming show.
Yeah,
but
first watch.
For the green room, Second Watch.
But other people liked Grognard's Assemble, so that's what we're going with.
I can't tell you how happy I am about how Second Watch has gone. Matt and Brian and I. So pre-COVID, game-wise, I had a pool of roughly 10 to 20 people to play games with and hang out with on a moment's notice.
Yeah.
Right. I was single. I had joint custody of my kid, which meant I had every other weekend free. It was a weird life when, half the week you're responsible dad, the other half the week you're like, woo, let's, play D&D and chase girls and be in a band and shit like that. But when COVID hit, man, like, actually sort of before that, everybody kind of started moving and the group kind of went down to like nothing really. And then my job required more travel than what I was used to. And then COVID hit and I was just bored. And like every other male in America, I started the podcast, you know, and Brian and Lord Mattias, Matt, and one other guy whose name I can't remember answered the call. And the other dude refused to do anything about his shitty reception and his shitty sound. And I made the executive decision that he was leaving. He also had a bad attitude. And I'm the only one allowed with a bad attitude on this fucking show, man.
You've got dibs on that one, huh?
I got dibs on that shit. That's for me. But it's so funny because that original podcast, we were so different. Gaming was so different. You know what I mean? Matt hadn't discovered the OSR. I was playing every single game in the world. Anyway, when we did the stream's been great. We've made so many friends. That was really, you know, kind of the best part of it. So thank you guys who watched the second watch.
Love second watch.
Always a good time.
And we're really trying not to overthink it, you know, because it's always, there's this one side of you that wants to like, if we do this, maybe we'll make the show bigger. And the other thing is, well, the show only has the people it has now because we don't do, we're so casual. So anyway, thanks guys.
Great.
If Howling Sphinx is still there watching from over in the UK, I'm curious what part of the UK you're in and if you're an Arsenal fan, if you follow football at all. Curious about your Champions League thoughts.
My favorite football team is the Chicago Bears.
The Bears.
I'm sorry.
Bears. Why?
I'm kind of still a Bucks fan.
You know what? I'm kind of in your boat. Hey,
Hey, I got to
Greg.
I'm a Cowboys fan, Dan, so I feel you.
Everybody
So send me the name of this person, or is there videos of this guy that you had a bad attitude with you, Gary?
No, because it was an audio podcast back when those were a thing. It was right before the YouTube boom.
Well, I want to know about this exciting information. You can just text it to me. It's fine.
I really don't even know. He might be somewhere in like my Facebook messages from, 2019, 2020.
Way back when. Yeah, but I don't mean a bad, like I have a bad attitude, but I try to express it in a way that, I try not to get too rawr about it.
Well, to answer Flint's question about Shadow City, off the top of my head, I can't remember if there's a specific page about doing solo play, but it's all set up to work totally awesome for solo play.
I still don't get solo play.
Yeah.
I might have to try it just
maybe
because I keep shitting on it, and I figure maybe I should try it.
I'm kind of in your camp there, Gary. I probably should try it. Just I see the value of it for testing your own stuff if you're writing it, like what Chubby does, or
maybe. But players are so squirrely.
There's also let's take Dolmenwood as a good example, right? There's a lot of people who have Dolmenwood and they have not run it or played in it. They have it because it's great on it. Gods of the Forbidden North is the same. Like there's people who have these big materials that they've paid a lot of money for, and because of their life or whatever situation, like they cannot get into a game of it. But if you could run it solo play, you can at least get value out of having the book, right? That was my thought behind what I did with Terra Invictus. Because it's just, there's so much that people don't use. They buy it and they can't even use it. Like if you can't run playing 6 games a week like Dan here, then maybe you're in 1 or 2 games a week and you're tapped out, but you still want to do this thing. Like at least you could do it on the side. You could do it on your lunch break at work, or you could do it on the plane, or you could do like on a train, anywhere, like Green Eggs and Ham. You
okay, Dr. Seuss.
You could do it.
It's Dr. Funster.
No, whenever I'm talking to somebody, I was like, what are you working on now? But I think we know exactly what Chubby's working on. And I'm curious, as you come to the end of this Shadow Sun thing, you're getting ready to push it out the door. Have you already started thinking about what's next?
Already have what's next. It's stalled because I couldn't come up with certain solutions. And I've come up with a lot of them now, but I was at kind of like it's not writer's block. It's like a designer thing. Like you can't figure out how to get the thing that you want to work with the mechanics the way it is. And so like I can sit down, I have very little trouble with writer's block. The hard thing is actually being okay with the direction that I've chosen for a particular thing. That's more of it for me. And so like I have this huge setting called Kardazim that's all set up. It's like an Al-Qadim it's not just Arabian, it's a full kind of Islamic world fantasy setting. And there were certain concepts in it that I just couldn't draw together in the way that I wanted. And I think a lot of times I see this a ton in video games, but it's also in role-playing games too, where I see something in the end product and I can tell, okay, they had some ideas here. If they'd had another 6 months, they could have made it work better, but they had to ship. So they rushed it through and now it's out there and they're hoping to fix it on the back end some way, right? You see that with a lot of times with video games because they feel like they can patch things back into the correct way. So there's just certain issues. One of the things that I wanted to make work in this game is that in a lot of, even in European culture at the time, but especially in Asia cultures, Central Asian cultures, the emphasis on wearing the right outfit to project that you are a Turk, that you are an Arab, that you are a Persian, whatever it is. And so I had some mechanics around that, but they just didn't work the way that I wanted. And I wanted it to be like every day when your character gets up, it's kind of like, like a wizard sits down and thinks about what spells am I going to choose for today, right? In classic D&D, right? I wanted to have some kind of mechanic where every time you get up in the morning, no matter what character class you are, you're like, what am I going to do? Am I going to wear my riding breeches and my caftan because we're going to be riding horses all day? Am I going to wear this? Am I going to, and actually make conscious choices about that stuff? And then when your character goes into things, it's like every day you have a different character made for that. Like it's that much of a part of it. Like these choices really align, like the way your spell choices make a different day. If you wake up and you memorize Fireball and Melf's Acid Arrow and a bunch of magic missiles, you're going to have a very different day than if you did Invisibility and Spider Climb and Web. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the choices that you make like that are going to be different. And I just wasn't able to make it come together back in October, November of last year. So I just said I got to do something else. I had a bunch of ideas for Shadow Sun, and so I just started working on that just to have something to work on.
Hey guys, real quick, I don't mean to completely interrupt everything, but we've had pretty good flow through here this morning, seeing as how it's Monday morning-ish. But we've only got one like. If you guys could, there's like 18 of you guys here now. If I could just convince you to go press the thumbs up real quick, and I'll let you get back to talking to Chubby about things you really care about. But until you do, I'm gonna sing. Oh blah dee, oh blah da. Come on, one like. Just kidding.
We could sing Happy Birthday for Flint. It was his birthday yesterday.
So, Chubby, do you think you're going to be? Are you going to be in Shadow Sun for a while? Like, do you?
Yeah, because I'm going to get into this a lot deeper with Siren, like I said in the chat earlier. But I just had a video drop like last week about how I think you need to design the thing to get the campaign results that you want, right? So, like one of the things that we talked about in the Gods of Forbidden North game, just in the private chat like this week or like the week before, was that I think it would be better for there to be more than one low, like right now it's written as there's a level 1 dungeon, there's a level 2 dungeon, there's a level 3 dungeon, and I think it would be better to have, say, 3 level 1 dungeons and then 2 level 2 dungeons and then 1 level, so that no matter what path the players go, it'll be okay, right? Rather than like, oh no, you stumbled into this thing and you're toast. And coming up with principles like that from playing games, like I haven't played Dolmenwood yet, but I've read a bunch of it. I'm going to run it after the Gods of Forbidden North game. Doing stuff like that where you can take what is the closest thing to my ideal and try to continue to refine beyond that, right? So like I want there to be in the Shadow Sun map, I've already put on the Discord, not on the Discord, on my Patreon, a map of where all the villain setup is going to be, and it's scattered out. So like there's 8 regions. Each region has kind of like their own super villain, and then multiple minor villains, so that the players can move between these regions and deal with the problems in whatever order they want. Yeah. Rather than it being just you're in one region, you're stuck there, there's a villain, you can't escape them, this kind of thing. So structure like that, those are the kind of things that I'm working on. And so the books for Shadow Sun are just going to be the kind of the game mechanical base. If you look at Dolmenwood's structure is actually really good for illustrating this problem. Writing the whole thing as one book is like insane, right? So it's better to have a player book, a book to tell the GM how to run the game, have adventure books that are set in particular locations, right? I want to do regional books for each of the 8 regions. I want to do stuff like that. I know that I can feel actually your pain in your heart of not getting a Red Dead 2 game in the short term, but I want that to happen too. I just have to make sure.
No, Chubby, I get it. I really do. It's funny because I mean, you know this. I've got no problem with sending DMs or text to like anybody that's been on the show, and Greg gets a lot of, I want to put this thing in my game. How would you do that? You know, like stuff.
I love this. Every hex has its own page.
Yes, awesome. I think that's a great idea.
So awesome.
I think Dolmenwood, that might be my next big purchase.
I think I'm going to have to. I have to really consider whether the A5 format will work for a lot of this. How I can fit it in, because it's very difficult to do a certain level of scale in A5. It's just the page is not that big, and then there's issues of like, people don't think about this because they don't do their own layout most of the time. But in an A5 layout, there's only so much that you can move around to accommodate art, right? Whereas in a large format, you could make it so that you're only covering half the page and then the bottom half is art. Or you could create spaces in the middle of the page where you have art around the stuff. But with A5, it's very, very difficult to do that unless you like specifically commission the art in advance to make it work exactly. You know, it's just very hard. And so the flexibility of losing the 8.5 by 11, I didn't appreciate as much at the beginning of the Shadow Dark saga, but now that we're deep in it, I'm like, man, there's so many things I wish I could do that I'm just hamstrung by the A5 format.
Somebody on my channel was asking about your Arabic setting, the Al Qadim thing.
Kharazim.
Yeah. They were asking if I'll see if I can find it here. It was up there a little
While
bit
you're
ago.
looking, Jeff, hey, y'all say hi to Gabriel. I know some of you know him. Watch your DM over in Vancouver. Hell, I don't remember how we got connected, but I had him on the show a long time ago. And then we played Mythic Bastion Land. And what else did we play? We played Black Sword Hack now. I invited him into that game.
So, actually, I think how you and I met is I commented on your video where you were talking about not liking funnels. And I said, "Have you?" And you said in that video, "I've never tried one, but I don't like it." And I made fun of you for it. I was like, "I'll run one for you, dog." And sure enough, I ran a funnel for you and your buddies. I ran. It was you and Hod Publishing and my buddy Mark.
Yeah.
And I ran you guys through Cave of the Slumbering Crawlers as a funnel. And we had fun. It was a good time. And after that, it's just been gaming and good times.
Yeah, now we talk about a lot of other stuff. But it's like, and these things worlds start colliding where you meet somebody through Second Watch, you meet somebody
Gabriel, you
Tankar or something, and then you become friends somewhere. So
hey, Gabriel, real quick, I just have to say that I'm a real stickler. I hate guys who stream and have shitty sound. And
Is my sound bad?
Incredible sound. You've won. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You and I have similar opinions about the audio quality on YouTube. I can't handle it, man.
Everyone getting the irony here, if you've watched the Second Watch, who has the most technical problems and
I don't know. Lately, it's been Matt. So
real quick, the technical problems were all due to they were not sound. Well, there was some sound. I got that shit ironed out. Why you got to bring that up? Dude? Come on.
Kind of right.
Anyway, so I wanted to. I came on so I could speak briefly to my experience running Dolmenwood, because I've been running it for the last couple months now for a group of players, and it's been absolutely wild. I've been totally shocked at how ineffective the hex per page layout has actually been in prepping and delivering content. Like, it's great conceptually, and it's awesome for like reading and chewing the book. Like, it's dope, but actually like executing on a kind of unstructured, they've gone and run off and done something, there is a lot of gaps there that have been really difficult to fill. Can
you give one like specific example that we can use as a discussion point?
Yeah, sure. So actually, I'll just tell you about the campaign real quick. So I started them in Langshorn with like a session 0, and they just kind of went and did some, I think they were doing some graffiti to kind of shit on Malbleed. And one of the PCs, dipped off, they were going to hide, and he ended up running off to a hex just west of Langshorn, ended up near a place called Langston, which is it's described as a sunken city. It's like a city inside of a pool of water, and there's some bog corpses and stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to roll a random encounter for this guy. He's out here at night. And so a bog corpse, sure enough, grabs him, snatches him, murders him. So session 0, we already have our first PC death, which was awesome.
Excellent.
Character makes a new, the player makes a new character, that character's brother, who now has to come and reclaim the estate. So there's great stuff there. Really, really awesome, juicy stuff, right? The next session, I've got a slightly different group. I think one of my PCs couldn't make it. I had another one add. They went and did Winter's Daughter. So that was great. Having the book, having it pop in right in 6-9, I think, is the hex, worked great. They come back, and the next session, they're like, well, I want to go do Langston now. But Langston is not an adventure. There is nothing there. So actually making a sunken church city with the bog, like all that stuff work, just wasn't in the book. And there's really nothing there to kind of support it outside of just this like paragraph of text, which again, super awesome, but definitely not like, I'm just doing this now. And it is structured in a way that the PCs can just boom, like zip off. We just did Imelda's Song, was our last session. And at the end of that, spoilers for Imelda's Song, like things can go terribly wrong. The PCs are now fleeing from Malbleed and the law, basically, who's accused them of necromancy. And so they're about to go running off into Dolmenwood. I'm just going to run it as a hex crawl, but I'm lightweight terrified because they can just kind of randomly run around. I don't have a book for them to go to. And I run like 3-4 games a week. So prepping, all the potential hexes for that in between my day job is daunting. So,
well, one of the things that I came into first talking about this when I made Terra Invictus, because in each hex of Terra Invictus, there's a D6 table. And I wanted it to not just be like random things walking around, but like, oh, there's actually like a temple of this god here that's like hidden away and you didn't know that it was there, but like it works mechanically like a random encounter. You just happen to find it. And then I've been working in Shadow Sun with different ideas of, you go into a hex, you're basically making a random encounter roll to create stuff that's there, because Acts 2 has some really great tables for creating terrain. Like there'll be like a despoiled terrain where you roll like a structure and then they find it and it's been destroyed, burned, whatever. Gary's party in Acts 2, when I was running it for them, they found a dwarven hold that had been burnt, right? And they were like, what does this mean? So then we started kind of doing the interpretive thing of so I came up with the reason why it was destroyed. I did all this stuff. It helped pull them into the world. So I think one of the things that you just kind of hit on there is you need like a short thing, not like that one paragraph type of thing maybe, but even like more general that you could build into whatever you need on the spot, rather than be locked into a sunken church. That's a lot of things that you as the GM wouldn't really change. But like if it was like some NPCs, you could be like, they're in the swamp, they're in the forest, they're in the whatever. No matter where it happens, you could plug and punch it. It wouldn't be attached to a specific hex. I think that's the kind of thing that I'm interested in lately, is like solutions to these kind of problems. I had a discussion in my YouTube comments with somebody a couple of days ago about what if you had, like, you roll random encounter and then there's like a secondary D6 die on top of it. And so like basically you're rolling 2d6, and if you get a 1 on the primary, then the second one determines the kind of forcefulness of the encounter. So if you get a 1, you start seeing the signs of whatever monster you rolled on the random encounter table. If you get a 6, they're right in your face. Like you come around the corner and they're on you. So the second D6 becomes like a range distance, a degree of involvement. Let the players pull out if it's a low number. If it's a high number, they're just stung by the whatever.
But they're right. You're just kind of compressing like the additional rolls that you'd be doing in most systems for like encounter range and reaction,
distance, and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Right. One of the things that I've done in the past is I played a lot of Troika and run a lot of Troika, and making an encounter table for a Troika region was basically like making a D66 table where my 1 was like an actual encounter, 2 was like spore, 3 was something, naturalistic, and then like all the way down to like 6. If I roll a 6, there's actually some beneficial, encounter that can happen. And then the other side of that 6 was some unique kind of feature of the thing that was doing some storytelling. And I found that worked pretty well to kind of compress those things. Now, of course, in Troika, you've also got the main. So whenever that encounter happens, whatever creature shows up, you're also rolling a main, so you're going to get their reaction is different as well. I do like that idea of kind of compressing those though, and doing that kind of. I also though I'm a big fan of like the escalation die, right? Where like almost like how Mythic Bastionland kind of does, omens, where it's just like, yeah, this omen happens, then this omen happens, then this omen happens. You kind of get this like structured progression through encounters. I'm playing with the idea of doing like depth encounter tables. So like a depth crawl style encounter table, where as you increasingly hit encounters, the depth of those encounters goes up. So you kind of get stranger encounters as you go farther.
If you keep running into dwarves, that means something.
Right. It should tell a story and kind of build to the world. Yeah.
Hey,
We've created the axis of praxis.
Real quick, I've been trying to find a good place to cut in. We got a lot of people on the stream. If you're here, then you know who Erudite is. I do the second watch over at Lord Mateus's channel. Gabriel, I just found your channel not too long ago. Tell us. No, I think it's great. Tell us who you are. Tell us what you do on your channel, and we're gonna go through the other guys as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. I'm Watcher DM, Gabriel. I make adventure books and some RPGs and stuff too. I think mostly my channel right now is like I've got flip through and reviews of games that I've run and played, and then I also have been doing a series on like the Tome of World Building, which just wrapped up, and I'm starting on Karen's second edition Warden's Guide. So I'm like doing like how to use generative tools to kind of build some stuff.
Yeah.
WatcherDM.com.
If Faraday was a good host,
Because
he'd
I just found
put
you.
a link to your channel
Yeah,
in the chat.
And I will do that for you. And I apologize.
But he's learning. He's learning. He also
I'm
doesn't
not
have Lord
learning.
Mateus.
On
Here's
chat
the
with
thing.
2
I don't
hours
do
ago about
anything
having
except
coffee, and it
talk.
turned into
I
this.
just.
didn't
Why
know.
are you talking? Oh, it's your channel. My bad.
I don't want to be a Mateus. You talk over me.
Death Angel's Shadow. Why don't you tell people your real name and give us a quick overview of what you're doing?
Oh yeah,
on your YouTube
yeah.
channel?
Some
And
people
send
call
us
me.
a link. I know you got like 10 channels or something.
I don't
Send
have. Well, I
Erudite
don't have
a
10
link.
channels.
He likes to
Let me see.
distribute viewers over the widest number of possible
Does.
channels.
It's
He
silly. You
does.
need to gather them in one place.
That's-
It's easier to rob them that way.
Cam and I have been yelling at him for that.
About what?
To just stream to one freaking place instead of 26 channels.
No, I just do. I don't.
Also,
Okay.
fuck Rumble.
Bring
No
my
one
On
goes on
topic.
Rumble.
Every time
channels.
I've asked a question, Death Angel, it's been you that has dragged us way the fuck off topic.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
trying to talk
No,
about
what
you.
he does.
Tell us what you're doing on your channel and where people can find you, please.
All right. Well, Tennessee Tabletop Tavern. My name is Jeff. I don't hide behind my moniker. We do the Bad News Bards every Sunday. We just started doing Grognard's Assemble on Fridays, and that's on my channel as well as Dan's and RP Grandpa's. And Bloodworth, we just added Bloodworth to that mix. So we're doing Mondays, of course, we do the streams. And then I'm also on Sci-Fi Snobs channel. We do a Babylon 5 retrospective every Wednesday. So I keep pretty busy.
All right, time's up. Dan, what you
All
got
right.
going on, man?
I'm Dan. I'm a longtime live stream chat slumlord, recent live stream actual edition, and I'll probably make a video someday about something.
Word.
Do it.
All right. Chubby, I do.
It will be
believe
about
that-
Hyperborea.
It
by the way.
absolutely
Yeah.
will be about
He's gonna
Hyperborea.
kill me. He's gonna kill us in Hyperborea.
Yeah,
All right.
no.
So
I have plans for the first one. It's going to be a retrospective on this after we're done with it.
awesome. All right. So Chubby, as if anybody doesn't
How do you
fucking
introduce
know.
him?
Hey, Chubby actually has been a friend of mine. We met at North Texas. I instantly decided Chubby was going to be my friend, whether he wanted to be or not. I do that to people. And he's great. He is, in my opinion, of all the Shadow Dark stuff being fucking poured onto us like an avalanche. Chubby's is of a quality that is heads and tails above. If anybody's as good as Chubby, I haven't seen him yet. So you're setting
I
the
appreciate
standard.
it, man. Thank you.
So
I started my YouTube channel because my number one interest is in getting to that point where I don't see any more problems to fix, and like that interaction that me and Gabriel had, like that's what it like what can we do to make this experience better for actually running the game? And when I started, the first thing I did. For years, I had a YouTube channel with like a couple of videos about stuff I had written, but I wasn't really using it as a YouTube channel. And then I started playing Gods of Forbidden North, and it was like, I want to make a video as somebody who's actually played something about why I think it's good, because so many reviews and videos are people who've just skimmed through the book and they have no idea whether it works or not.
Mm-hmm.
And then they don't even notice problems that I actually noticed during the reading phase. And I'm like, okay, clearly you didn't read it that well. And so I made a review of Gods of Forbidden North where I was like, these are the things that I think are really, really, really good. And people accused me on my channel of like being a shill for Gods of Forbidden North. And I'm like, I'm just saying, like, this is one of the more closest things to what I think is actually the best stuff. So like I'm identifying a lot of things in it, and there's a lot of things I identify that are in other modules. It's just a useful example of it being in one place. And then there's things that I think are bad about it, but I don't rip into it because Rob is trying to do it the correct way. He's not like Wizards of the Coast who just happen to sometimes do some things good. So, you know, like Rob is really working. Like one of the things that I've kind of gone back and forth with him on is he has at the beginning of Volume 1, when you first get to this Valkengard town, there's this idea that all these adventurers are going across the lake to this mega dungeon to get stuff. And then there's story stuff that meshes into that and whatever. But the actual mega dungeon is like, if you're not level 8 and you try to walk up to this place, you're going to get destroyed, right? So there's no way there's level 1 dudes getting to this place and just hanging out. So I'm like, hey, we should like wreck the top level of this mega dungeon and have it like be a bunch of level 1, level 2 appropriate stuff. And then as you go down, so they're aware that there's a mega dungeon there. They don't have to go into, there's all these other things they could do back in the warmer places where you don't freeze to death after 6 hours. And it would let them phase in all these different layers of choice of how far they want to go, how they want to deal with things and everything. But, you know, Rob is his own man. He has his own ideas. I can't like force him to change. But like if I was designing it, that's how I would do it. So I'm constantly looking for that kind of thing. Like, what would I change about this thing? Right. And I make the videos like that. I went through Al-Qadim module, and I'm like, I'm not like going to run this module with second edition, but these are the things that I think are great about this module. One of the things that is not in Gods of Forbidden North, but is in this Al-Qadim module, for instance, is that there's a series of challenges in the module where if you understand the religion and the beliefs of the people in Al-Qadim, then you will know what to do and you will make it through the challenges. So it's basically like a knowledge check for the player. Do I know that I'm supposed to be nice to beggars? I run into a beggar. If I'm mean to the beggar, like a lot of players are instinctively inclined to do, then I get hosed. If I'm nice to the beggar, I walk right through the thing. So it's like a test of, do you understand this culture, this religion in Al-Qadim? I think Gods of Forbidden North would be a perfect place to build in tons of checks like that, because there's 3 different religions. There's all these different, it's a clash between a native culture and like a Romanized culture. There's all these different things you could build in, but it's already a 500-page book. I can't fault Rob for not putting that in, but like things like that, like I'm always looking for like, what could we do to make this even better? That's my like goal in life. Gary just wants to run games on Thursday nights every once in a while, you know.
Yeah. So real quick, time out. I just want to say, every time we bring up Gods of the Forbidden North, I just have to say this out loud. Holy fuck, what an accomplishment.
Yep.
Just and the quality that's, you know, I haven't read volume 2 or 3 because volume 1 is like fucking huge. But
we've been running for a year, and they have only barely gotten into volume 2. There's still a whole dungeon for volume 1 that they haven't completed yet. It's the density, the amount of sessions you can get out of it is insane.
It's incredible. It's an incredible achievement. And if you know Rob, when he finished up with this, I wasn't joking. I was like, Rob, maybe you should try do something smaller, like a zine or something. And he looked at me and was like, go big or go home, Gary.
Yeah, but so wrong, though. And actually, you know what's funny? So first of all, I got to say, Chubby, I think your analysis, your video analysis, like, is incredible. It's absolutely top tier. Yeah. It's above anything else out there. As someone who also saw the vacuum of like, man, these people are just reading the book. They're not actually getting it to the table before they form an opinion about it. That's where the heart of mine came from, right? My video reviews. And, but I have not been able to do that kind of general analysis that you've got, you know, really covered.
I went to a lot of school that I don't use at all for anything in my life, except for this.
Well, you're using it now, and you're using it a lot.
Training, thesis and PhD writing training, like all this stuff, statistical analysis. I don't use it at all in my day job, but I use it in here.
Yeah. So, but what I was gonna say is, oh shit, never mind. You got me. You interrupted me. You cooked me out. I'll remember at some point.
Hey, I want to ask you, Gabriel. You're in Dolmenwood, or you're playing Dolmenwood now.
I'm running it. Yeah.
You're running it. Yeah. How? I've heard nothing but good things about Dolmenwood. You know, I mean, like I haven't heard any. But the first thing that almost sounded bad was you said a page per hex maybe doesn't help that
It's
much.
not as pristine a prep environment as you may want.
Right,
Like I think
right.
as a
And I don't even think that was negative. I think you're just saying, hey, let me explain. It's not exactly
recognize the challenges, right?
Yeah.
I think one of the things, like, so you were just actually, now I remember what I was going to say. So I haven't bought Gods of the Forbidden North, and I'm not going to. I already have a paperweight anvil block. It's called Arden Vol, right? Like, I don't have the time to read 500-page books. One of my favorite videos that Chubby Funster put out was, nobody cares about your word count, bro. And I was like, man, I love that.
A lot of hate for that video.
No, but it's so accurate. And like, that was actually one of the reasons I even got into adventure design in the first place, is because I was doing, like, I've been running games for 30 plus years, right? Like, just having a great time, scrapping some stuff together, maybe pull a piece here and there. But when I started, I was broke. I was a kid. I couldn't afford books, right? It's like, now you come into 2016, 2017, I start running 5e, and I'm looking at these books. I'm like, 250 pages of some pretty dry, poorly written, really hodgepodge crap that I'm like, I would not try and pitch this to my PCs. I'm going to have to fix this if anybody's going to believe anything I say.
Was that my stuff?
No, it's the 5e stuff. Your stuff is way shorter.
I didn't actually
need the
start
5e
this
stuff.
in my series where I analyzed Curse of Strahd, because I didn't get into a lot of the cognitive load discussion until after that. But one of the things with Curse of Strahd in particular is there's like, I think it's like 20 pages at the front of the module that is supposed to be like, here's like an introduction to the GM explaining the world. And I was saying to my wife that I could have condensed that to 2 pages with bullet points, and it would have been way more effective at communicating what it is. You could have had a little box that says, here's the kind of horror we're going for, and then like 5 bullet points. You could have had a little box that say, this is how you should run Valaki. This is how you should run Barovia. This is how you should run blah, blah. And for each town, like, these are the ways that the towns connect and do all this stuff, right? The problem is, if you do that, and then you, as like the reader, you see, okay, so this whole book only even explains these points because it's so siloed and so disconnected, and like seeing it actually graphed out the way that, like, I don't want to get too much into day job stuff, but like, if you were going to make a serious curriculum for adults in a major corporation, you would not approach it like this ever under any circumstances at all. It would never be done like that. You would have all kinds of different ways of doing it with PowerPoint decks that are like intro overviews, and then you would have like deep dives organized into little modules, and you would have all this. You would never teach someone the way that we try to teach people to run RPGs. It's absolutely horrible.
Well, so I think we don't actually teach people RPGs that way. You teach people the same way people learn baseball. You don't teach people baseball by telling them to read the rules of baseball. You take them out and you throw a ball at them, you hand them a stick, right? And this is how we've historically, RPGs are a folk tradition, right? Yeah. So they're going to come from a table of storytellers, and everybody at the table is doing that, right? We're all doing that act. Yep. The point I was trying to make was, when I first started, back into this thing, and I was looking at these 250-page, 300-page books, I was like, well, I don't have time for this. I have a day job. I got a relationship. I got stuff I want to do. And so we started creating really much, much shorter form. And so, like, the first 12 or 13 things we ever made were all 5e pamphlets, like 1 page, both sides pamphlets. And they kind of suck. They're not great, right? They're first effort, but it was that kind of the thing that I've been trying to drive towards. Whereas you're going for that like perfection of, the removed all the obstacles thing, which I totally appreciate. I think it's the best effort you can make in that direction. Mine is very much in the how slim can it be direction, right? Like, how small can I make it? How narrow? How thin? Can we just get the most effective, punchiest words in there? And because of that, I don't write. I hire writers and then I try and rip it down. So I've become like a very, the editor with a sharp knife kind of attitude, right? So I'm always in there just working with the writers to try and bring the best words up and get the rest out of there.
Yeah, I did a video recently with Gabriel on a release they just did for 5e, right? Gabriel called a privatized little hell, which is with tongue-in-cheek kind of look at what was it? Which you're poking fun at what the insurance corporate world, but an RPG setting kind of thing, set in hell. Kind of fun.
Yeah, so it's Mammon has taken over hell, right? Greed has risen, pride has fallen, and the PC's got to go in there and do like a heist, then reverse heist to get the guy out. Yeah, sorry if it was reversed there. Privatized Little Hell with some art from Lady Laura Lee, some great writing by Austin Holm. It's a good book. It is for 5e though, so if you don't like 5e, maybe not for you.
My thought when you were saying everything you're saying, Gabriel, is there's like a range between me writing down exactly what you should say as the GM in the order you should say it, and then me providing you with the shortest possible stub of an idea that you develop out into whatever it is.
Right.
And somewhere in between there is the optimum thing. Maybe it varies slightly by people. There's people who need more, there's people who need less, but there's going to be some kind of optimum range, just like there's an optimum price to charge for your product if you experiment with different levels. And it's just the way that the world works. There's some kind of optimum level, and if we can move towards that, at least that would be it, rather than going in the opposite direction, making it so that it's even more complex, even more reading, because you don't need all that stuff. You don't need all that extra description.
Well, and reading that doesn't pay anything, like reading that's not getting you any value. I think that's the hardest part, is reading something and you're like, didn't they say that 3 sentences ago? Like, why are we gilding the lily here? Why are we decorating the room with purple prose that nobody needs? I think somebody else here said, don't let perfect get in the way of good. I'll tell you, as somebody who's done a lot of this now, the hardest thing is learning to finish. And if you can learn to finish, man,
bro,
like nothing can get in your way.
Thank you. So Gabriel, listen, this is something I've been trying to get across on Second Watch. And I know I've said it a lot of times, but I don't think people are listening because everybody thinks that's not me. All right. When I was a kid, I wrote a song with some friends and we thought it was fucking great. Right. And then we put it in the set list in between 2 real songs. Our song was fucking horrible. Right. And it was not good. There was nothing good about it. I mean, all the chords fit, whatever. Right. But it was not good. It was not good. And I see so much stuff out there, especially, and I'm not picking on Shadow Dark, but Shadow Dark is the game right now. We're take another week, take another month, straighten out your layout. Kelsey gave you a blueprint, especially for Shadow Dark. She gave you the layout. She gave you the fonts. Follow what she does. And there's so much stuff that just needs this much work.
Yeah. I agree. I also think like, it is okay to walk before you run. It is okay to hit publish on something that is like not probably good enough for everyone else. And like getting used to the idea of people not loving your stuff or dropping a flop is something that's going to help you have the resilience to keep deploying. Like, your first things are not going to be good. Like just objectively, there's 0 chance that you're going to knock it out of the park on your first try. And if you are in that like 0.001% chance that it does happen, you should get over it pretty quick because your next thing's probably going to be pretty bad. Getting things right is an exercise of persistence, regular practice, constant analysis, reappraisal, and you have to be really honest with yourself about things that worked and didn't work. That's really, really hard to do. It takes a certain amount of self-awareness and reflection that isn't abundant. It's not common. Like it's an exercise unto itself. It's like working out. And so, yeah, I think it's okay to ship a thing that's not amazing. Just be ready to come back with the knife again and clean it up. And or let it go and move on to the next thing and make the next one better. And that's what we've been doing. Is like every time we ship something, we just try and improve and try and improve.
I have a dungeon that I released early in the Shadow Dark phase, and it was just a port over of like a 1-page dungeon, and it was not exceptional. It was just okay. And there were people who needed a dungeon to run right away at the beginning of the Shadow Dark. Nothing was written for Shadow Dark yet, so it worked out. But the longer it went, the more I was like, I got to fix this. And I went back last year and stripped it, redid it from the ground up, new map, new all sorts of stuff, and I replaced it. So that terrible evidence of my failure is now eliminated.
And I saw you run it. I thought it was great. The
Thank
new
you.
version was much better.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I learned a lot in 3 years, amazingly.
Yeah.
Do you think you guys are ever going to go back? And this can go to Erda, anybody who's published. Do you ever have the desire to go back on something that's maybe already on drive-through and
Done it.
change it?
I've done it.
Do you think it's worth it?
I don't know about these guys, but yeah, I've done it with
No.
scenes. Scenes are easier writing a PDF than it is for the stuff Gabriel publishes and prints, and the stuff Chubby publishes and prints. That's a bigger deal, and you can do the little drive-through. Oh, here's a correction. Download it here, and that's probably good to do.
So I'm gonna say, first of all, it's always worth it. Not because, like, first of all, if you're trying to make money in RPGs, good luck. Like, this is not the place. Like, maybe if you're lucky or you're really, really business minded, but like, you want to make $10,000 in RPGs, spend 20, right? This is not like an easy money win game. For some people, it might be, not for most of us. Making it is worth it because you're going to get better. You're going to get that practice. So you're going to kind of revisit your stuff. The first thing we made for 5e was Doom Desert and the Decanter of Delirium, and it was a big thing. We made it in GM binder. I bought art for it. My buddy wrote it. It was kind of a nightmare. That was our first time, and but it had a lot of really fun ideas in it. And we came back to it in 2024, I think, and we turned it into a zine, and we kickstarted it. And we got enough money to do a little print run. It's hit a good audience. I think people really love it. I've had a great time running it, and being able to reapproach it and kind of take kind of Gavin Norman style layout tactics and just really try and, again, apply the things that I've learned in that time, right? That's been the joy. It's like seeing the execution improve because I'm better at this now. It's been awesome. Totally worth doing.
Yep. And I also think there's kind of like, Gary, to use our Axe campaign as an example, I have this huge open world map that I'm putting modules from other, like mostly old school modules, out there for them to find and run across, right? So if people make stuff that's just a short little dungeon, as long as it fits whatever the theme, like I'm running it in the desert, so that a desert themed module would be good to throw in, I can throw that in without you having to have built a huge world. Not everybody's running a Dolmenwood or an Axe or a Gods of Forbidden North size campaign. I run that kind of as a way of improving myself. Like I was describing it on my Patreon as like, this is an essential part of my professional thing to run every week, even if it's not Shadowdark, even if it's not my writing. I need to do things to get experience with other people's systems and how it works, and run into problems and deal with them in different systems, because so many people get stuck in this one mode of thinking and they don't improve that, right? We're about to go to North Texas. I'm going to be in, that was same last year, a whole rack of all different games, all new GMs. Somebody texted me on Patreon about what they should be thinking about when they're at North Texas, because they're going to be there too. And I was like, study the things that the GMs don't talk about or write down. So there's a part of my analysis of cognitive load about how far away do you describe the things that the players are from? Do you like when they're 150 feet away, do you say you see a gate? Do you tell them they see the gate when they're 50 feet away? Like, how far away are you doing that? How are you managing their approach? When are you telling them when they can, what details are on the statue? When are you telling them about this and that, and so that they can see? Those kind of things vary enormously from GM to GM, and you can really learn a lot from how people's game results occur based on the way that they describe things and how they prime the players to respond to a particular thing. There's a dungeon we just did in Gods of Forbidden North where you come into the entrance and the path splits, and at the edge of the torchlight, one of the paths, there's a statue. That makes it like a 90% chance the players are going to head for that statue. Little things like that, you have to actually like run a lot of games, see how different GMs describe where the statue, how the torchlight works, and all that kind of stuff, for you to really get a sense for what people are doing at their tables.
I will say, I think one of the good things about the Gavin Norman style of adventure writing that you see kind of across the Dolmenwood set and across most of the old school essentials adventures is that kind of like word brackets describing the kind of closer analysis. It kind of creates a level of detail structure for the information. And while I'm much more like a kind of bullet guy, and I really, really love Joseph R. Lewis's stuff. I think his is, maybe my favorite. Having run now a bunch of Gavin's stuff, I'm like, oh man, I get why this is here. Like, this is really usable from you see this. Oh, I checked that out. Okay, it's this way and that way.
And there's some things that people don't realize just from reading something. So like, if you look at Kelsey Dion's descriptions, and Gavin Norman does a similar thing, but it's not exactly the same. At the top level, there's like 2 or 3 lines where different words are highlighted. That's for you to kind of like describe the room as you go into the room. Then underneath that, there are bullet points, and those bullet points have sub-bullet points that represent what you're talking about. Like, okay, so you see that there's a pillar, then there's an entry for the pillar is black marble and has blah, blah, blah. So that's what, when you actually ask the GM, tell me more about the pillar, that's what you get. And then there's a sub-bullet of if they start touching the pillar, this is what happens. So it creates this gradient of interaction with the object. I think innovating in that respect would be really, really good for making games work better. I think we can go beyond Kelsey's framework. I think like you could use columns and rows and stuff in a table to maybe make it work better. I'm still working on ideas like that, but that's the kind of stuff that I think will really carry it forward, because there's a reason why people are looking for tools to manage the prep, like using AI. In some cases, I've heard people say using this or using that tool to manage their campaign. VTT tools like making a handout in the VTT for particular information and giving it to play, things like that, because there's been so little innovation in actual book design, in presenting the information. It's really sad. You can pull up a module from 1985 and it has the same layout design as a book published 3 years ago. You're like, God, this is nuts.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people complain on both sides about like the Goodman Games books that way. Some people love the info dump, and some people are like, especially I think a lot of the people that came in with 5e or one of the newer systems, and they're kind of, this is just, look, it's just a block of text, and it's like,
but there's no more entertaining system out there for just reading the book, even if you never ever play it, than Dungeon Crawl Classics. I'm just gonna.
Not just DCC, but I mean a lot of their stuff. Anything that Goodman does, they tend to do that. This is your info dump page, and the artwork is kind of an afterthought.
I think the way that I heard it described was there's people who want to like run from their kind of clipboard, and then there's people who want to eat the book, and you eat the book and you digest it and you turn it into your own kind of crystallized version of what's going to happen, and then you try and regurgitate whatever it is that kind of stood out the most to you as you're running it, because you're not going to be able to use the book at the table. Either you're going to write some notes, or you're going to draft something to kind of help you get there, or you're just going to let it spill out as you remember it, which I think both are valid. I think when, like, let's be frank, right, in 2026, attention is capital. Like, that's all you've got is your attention, and everybody wants it. And so like having the attention span and time to devote to reading in 2026 is extremely difficult. If I'm reading, most of the time it's on my phone. And I hate to admit that, right? Nobody wants to be the person who's like, I've been basically sucked into a YouTube universe where everything is a video or it's worthless, right? But like, the reality is that is the vast majority of young humans, for sure.
Right.
Right.
I like
Was
like the
opened it on my
info,
phone.
But I get where
my phone
sometimes it's nice just to be able to take an adventure and hit the floor running, especially a one shot or, you know.
There's another component to this too, which like, I think Chubby, you were kind of hitting this earlier. Systems are different, right? And they focus on different things in games. And so like, if you want to really, I think, benefit from the breadth of this is a golden age, right? We're in a renaissance. There's so much stuff being published all the time. So many new ideas constantly being put out there. But if you want to benefit from all that, you're going to kind of have your fingers in a lot of pies. You're going to be trying out a lot of systems and doing a lot of different games. And so like, me personally, I'm running and playing in like just a ton of different games from Mothership, Troika, 5e, Shadow Dark, OSE, Dolmenwood, this, that, right? All these different systems. And so having adventure content that is quickly digestible and can quickly be brought to the table, and I can quickly kind of figure out what's happening and what the nuances of the system are, is way more important to me than having something I can chill back with for a Sunday afternoon and kind of lounge around and breeze through, a couple hundred pages.
There's also like a setting up the GM in a particular way. So like if there's a map with 5 dungeons on it, and if the players go to one of those dungeons, you need to really be prepped ahead of time by having devoured all the content. Then if the players start making choices to head in a direction you haven't prepped, the GM then gets the incentive to bend what the players want. Whereas if it's super easy for me to just flip the page and quickly run whatever it is that they choose, the players will end up getting practically at the table way more choice and a lot more flexibility, because I won't be trying to push them in a particular direction, right? And you can see that there's actually an alien module that I love. It's called Destroyer of Worlds, but it has a limited number of locations, and they really need to be approached in a particular order. A lot of them do. So the GM is trying to kind of guide the players in the right direction, when I would love for the GM to have much more free reign to just let them go explore this whole place. But because they can't, they have to do it in this order. Like I'm trying to give them information that will push them to go a particular way. I'm trying to come up with NPC interactions that make them go a particular way. And I just don't think that's good for the game. Even if you love long form reading, I don't think it's good for the game for the players to be dependent on you doing that long form reading first. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's better ways to convey information than giant blocks of text. And that's why I don't run Goodman modules for anything, because they're just giant walls of text.
And I don't know. I think that's one of the reasons why I got, particularly the OSE, the OAR, the Original Adventures Reincarnated, is I wanted both the original reprints that was included in them, sometimes multiple versions of.
I'm just glad I bought them for $35 on Amazon, and now they're like $250.
I know. I told my wife, I said, if something happens to me, just so you know, let me show you what these are worth. Because it happens a lot,
Squirrel, back on track. But so you liked having both the original and the new that they added to it in the same book.
Well, yeah, in some cases they went back and they maybe fixed some things, and I would turn around and probably convert that either into something like Shadow Dark OSE or into Castles and Crusades. Yeah. I'm going to run it in a different system. I'm not going to run it in 5e. I'm never going back to 5e.
I don't think anyone here is.
I play 5e. I'm playing 5e tonight.
I hope you have fun.
Man,
I will. You know what?
There's a good game in there. There is.
There is.
I'm going to tell you guys a little secret. It does not matter what system you bring to the table. If you are playing with your friends, you're going to have fun.
Yes.
The most important thing about this game is that we're doing it together. So we could be playing, shoots and ladders for all I care. If I get to hang out with my friends and have a good time doing it, we're good.
There's a lot of truth to that. However, as the dungeon master, game master, who spends much more time in game than the players do.
Right.
And I also am of the belief that things like prep and character creation is a part of play. It is play.
Sure.
You are participating in the hobby. You are
Agree.
playing.
Yeah, you're playing the game.
So as the person who's having to run everything and keep the numbers and all that, I think some systems are easier to have fun with your friends with
100%.
than other systems.
100%. And like, yeah, I think, there's another truth here, right? I don't just run games. I play a lot. And I do that very intentionally. And I'll play in games where I don't necessarily like what the GM is doing. I don't necessarily like what's happening at the table, or I don't even necessarily like the system. And I'll go through that exercise for myself so that I understand what the edges are of my preference. And I can understand better what I'm bringing to the table when I'm running different systems or playing different games or running things for people, because I want to know what a good or bad GM looks like from the player side of the table. I spent years and years being the GM thinking I was the best thing on earth, and I'm not. I was wrong, right? And I wouldn't have known that had I not spent more time on the player side of the table. And I think it's critical to do that and have that, again, that self-reflection and kind of self-awareness and open eyes. And playing in a 5e game, I see my buddy struggle. He's running it, right? And I watch him struggle with his prep. He's also having a lot of fun with his prep.
Yeah.
And then playing as a player, I find all the parts where I'm like, yeah, this combat's taken forever. Oh, my buddy over here is taking forever to make her decision.
Actually, playing in Chubby's game, there's at least one thing I'm going to steal from him. And that's the way you handle mapping. In fact, this summer is the summer of D&D for the kids, and I've created 2 retainers that are basically Jay and Silent Bob. One is a torchbearer and one is a mapper. And so, but yeah, being a player, this is the year of me being a player. I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
What about mapping specifically? I'm curious.
So in my last OSE game, let me tell you the things I've learned from your game. Okay. So my last OSE game.
This is perfect. This is the best video ever.
Yes. Yeah, my last OSE game, I was like, all right, you know what? We're doing this rules as written to the fucking T. There's no fucking story. The player's going to tell me what they want to do. They're going to go do it. I'll describe the things as they get there, but I'm not, this is just how it's going to be. And then you find out that people who that say they want to play an old school game kind of don't, right? Like they like the idea of it, but encumbrance, overland travel is not really something that they don't really enjoy it. They don't really want to get to 9th level and make a castle. They want to kill shit. That's really what it comes down to.
And that's what a game like Shadow Dark is for.
But one of the things that I've learned from Chubby is, so when I play, because it's a procedural game, when I did that game, rules as written, step by step, it was procedural. I was, all right, guys, which way you want to go? Roll the dice. All right. It was just down the line. Chubby's found a way as a GM to do all the random rolls. Maybe it's because we're online. I don't know. Maybe he's just better at it. But you do all the rolls behind the scenes. I know you're doing them. Sometimes you're having the players do them, and it doesn't really break down the flow of the game. Whereas if you really do the procedure, it doesn't really flow that great.
Sorry, Gary. He's always very intentional and obvious about the wondering monster checks when we're chatting too long.
Truth, very, very true. But the mapping thing, so
make sure we see the die.
Yeah, I think this is kind of how you do it, but this is what I've gathered. Basically, if we say we have a mapper and we're going to hire a retainer, right, and he's mapping, then, or even if we say a player's mapping, then what that means is he's gonna have to take a turn to put that shit down and use a tool or a weapon or fight. So there is a bit of a hindrance there. But because we're on a VTT, if we have a mapper, like we don't have to guess about everything that second time. We don't have to guess on our way out. We don't have to guess on our way back in because our mapper took care of it. But we don't really have a mapper.
We have Matt. Matt's our mapper.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I'm going to do with the kids anyway.
I don't use dynamic lighting, but I am much more aggressive about actually changing the reveals. So like when you go into an area and you get into a fight, I'll start closing off the reveals behind you because you're paying attention to whatever it is, and then the fight's over, and it's like, oh wait, how do we get back out? Okay, well, we went over there, the stairway's over there. So then they start doing that, and then we reveal some more. So I am giving them what I think a lot of people would have. There's too much. I'm showing them too much for a lot of people's opinions, but it's also not so little that they're constantly like concerning, spreading out, making notes or whatever. So it kind of like the balance so that it's the minimum drain on the. As I don't want them to be like.
Mapping is a
I
drain,
can't remember where we are or whatever, but except unless they deserve it. Like if they really deserve it, then yes. But most of the time, I'm just like sweeping behind them, covering everything up. So they're like, well, crap. Okay, how are we gonna get out? And then if somebody is paying attention, then I'll leave the stuff behind them so they can see where they came before. But if not, you're screwed.
Yeah, so I've recently been running His Majesty the Worm, and that game has a really unique take on all this stuff where you actually just give them the map. You just give the PCs the map, and they point on the map and say, yeah, we're going over here. And then you kind of play out the progression of them going there. So the whole concept of mapping is completely gone. The PCs are just going into this world of potential encounters and things happening. And I think that, you know, as a game that kind of bills itself, you know, as old school, at least in its stylings, it's really interesting that they were just like, and completely forget about maps. They don't matter, except that they are the most interesting thing at the table, right? You're handing over this thing that is beautiful visually, you know, absolutely is giving them tons of information that they can make decisions about. And I think that one of the interesting things about our discussions about mapping, right, is most of the decisions you're making are not about the information you have, it's about the information you don't have. And that means most of your decisions are pretty blinding. Oh, do you go left or right? Well, what's to the left? What's to the right? I don't know. Your light doesn't reach. Good luck. You know, is that an interesting decision? No.
Real quick, it's been fun hanging out. I'm going to go have some lunch with the wife and do some family stuff. Man. Happy Memorial Day. Good chatting with y'all. Take it easy, everybody.
Hell yeah, brother.
Good to see you, Dan.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hey, I just want to jump in here real quickly. We can keep talking and all that. This was just like let's jump on and have coffee, me and Gary. Let's see if anybody else wants to come. And I'm so glad it kind of mushroomed on a holiday here in a good discussion. Lots of great topics. I don't even know what the hell to put in the show notes how to describe this, but it doesn't really matter. People are already watching.
I think Memorial Day live stream is pretty cool.
That's a good idea. Maybe 4th of July too. You know, before start that night, nobody really has anything to do.
Well, I'd like to get some ideas from you guys. I had this idea before. It fits in with what Gabriel was just saying. One of the things when we started running Gods of the Forbidden North is that he had a GM map and a player map. A classic breakdown, we've seen all before. But the problem was that his player map didn't have certain things on it that I thought they should really know from the beginning. Like, not just the starting town, but like they should know that there's a second town, that there's a road to that town, that there's a Native American town that's up here, and you can go up there. Not Native American, Inuit, but yeah. You can go up there and like, so I just opened the map up in Photoshop and I copied it the way so that it would work. And then I made it, but it made me think about like, what if some people do this with dungeon tiles or geomorphs, but I feel like that is randomized and I don't want to do it random. But what if you break up the map on a surface level by hex, on an underground level by maybe like some kind of, not an exact room shape, but some kind of grid shape that you're dropping in, and then you're revealing them as they go through. So like right now they're looking at the map, they see a woods. If they go and explore that, you drop like what's essentially a token from a VTT perspective. It drops and it covers up the hex, and it shows that hex actually has a tower in the middle of the woods. But you couldn't see that until you went into. So as you go through the campaign, the main map that you keep going back to for your overland travel keeps getting these hex tokens essentially added on to add detail level to it, rather than just like putting dots on it like in Roll20, be like, this is the castle of whatever. And I think you could do the same thing in dungeons, and it just would need to be organized differently from a hex map. But that way, the players would always have the map in essence. They know the shape of the land. They know roughly the shape of this space in the dungeon, but they're like revealing it through exploring these tiles or hexes.
Yeah, I think that's a cool idea. I think the problem I probably have with it is that like it's very reliant on VTT text, yes. Right? Yeah. Whereas like most of the games that I run and play are in person, so like the vast majority. And having run a number of campaigns now where mapping, like I ran Black Marsh. I think you guys have had Rob Connolly on the show a few times, right?
I've had him.
Yeah, great stuff. Huge fan of his work.
I'm sitting right over there, all those beautiful maps.
Yeah. So I ran Black Marsh as a campaign, and I loved the maps for that, like being able to provide my players the PC-facing maps for that, but also being able to provide maps that were diegetic, right? Creating maps that were like, the kobolds have a map of these mountains that is inaccurate and is mostly revolved around kobold things, right? I think is the juice that you can't get, right? There's like, that's a very, very hard thing to produce, but it's actually one of the things that I think would be the most valuable in a lot of settings and a lot of adventures, is providing player information that's, accurate to the level of what the players know. The map isn't the terrain, because it does kind of create that middle line, right? Where like, you've got all this information, it's just potentially inaccurate. So you can make decisions based on information you have. It's not completely black box, right?
I thought about doing that with monster information.
Yeah, you might be finding stuff out.
Players get some monster information, but like a significant portion of it is wrong.
Right.
And it's because it's coming from the reports of rando people who are coming back from fights or escaping from these monsters. So there's this thing that they describe as being just a horrible, eats everybody. It's like it's a herbivore, but they were terrified of it and ran away, so they didn't know that would have so that kind of stuff, like, but it would be very hard to produce from a writing perspective content that you didn't know would be as useful as other things you could be writing.
No, totally agree. Yeah, it's a challenge.
All right, guys. I gotta get out of here because I'm gonna go pick up this table for my
part
maps.
of me wants to see how long we can keep this going.
You guys can keep on going. I've got a stream in an hour.
It's just you leaving? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, everybody pops off one at a time, and then it's just me and Gary again at the end, just staring at the wall.
Yeah, you guys just cycle people out, and then after I'm done with this Untold Destiny game, and don't forget, tomorrow Agile Monk is launching Zendria and Concerns.
Oh yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of us that are doing streams all day long on it. So, any rate,
Death Angels, well, you can find him on one of his 175 YouTube channels.
I only have Tennessee Tabletop Tavern.
Suspiciously, there's only one Rumble channel though. Anyway, all right.
I think we posted
Have fun, man.
Because I know how to do Rumble, believe it or
I
not.
think we posted everybody's channels here to go follow.
Yeah.
If you watch anyone else,
We'll see you guys.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. Greg, I would really love to hang out with you sometime and throw some dice and
Are
chat
you going to
some
be in
more.
North Texas? I can't remember.
No, dude. I am non grata in the United States. They don't let me pass the border anymore. So
oh wow!
I'm Canadian only.
An insurgent.
What'd you do, man?
You didn't know
What'd you do?
What didn't I do, brother? I was in the U.S. for 40 fucking years. I really tore up the rug before I left.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Not that big of a deal. Basically, if you've done anything in the United States and are not a permanent resident alien anymore, which I'm not because I turned in my green card when I moved up here, you have to get a criminal waiver if you're going to return. And currently, I'm not really relying on the legal systems of the United States to play impartially with people who are immigrants with the last name Hernandez.
We're trying to keep your kind out, bro.
Exactly.
You're a fucking troublemaker.
Oh, the worst kind.
With that deep reverb in his voice, you just know he's up to something.
Yeah, no, you should hear my maniacal, wicked laugh, man. It's villainous. My party is always like, "Oh shit, he's gonna do it again."
All right, yeah.
Thanks for coming on,
You're welcome on my tables, bro.
guys.
Cool, man.
Hey,
glad
you're on Discord, Gabriel?
Yeah.
At Watcher DM.
What do you do? What do you got every other Thursday?
Let's see. Well, so Thursdays are my date day with my partner. But we've been doing like eating all of our meals together on Thursdays and Sundays. But she's actually going to be going out of town for, I think, the summer. So, yeah, if you're looking for a player,
they just killed almost all their entire party in Acts 2. So there you go. Yeah, they decided they were going to all go through this teleport and die, and Lord Mattias just stayed on the right side of the teleport, and he was like, I guess I'm the only one that made it. And then he just turns around and leaves after they don't come back. So
there's
fucking worse than that. That son of a bitch.
Hey, I went into the portal, no problem. 5 gnolls want to come attack me. Roll a morale, to try to influence 6 rolls, whatever. 6 gnolls, whatever it was. I made I rolled a 12 or something.
He rolled an 11 reaction roll.
Yeah, so they were like, okay, they were going to stop and listen, but then Gary comes tumbling through the portal right on like that. Oh, let's attack!
classic.
Well, listen,
Hey,
you make certain. Look, Chubby's game is not a game where you really want to ride along backstory or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I did go from playing a Venturer, who was a lot of fun. He was a scheming little bastard. He was exactly what a Venturer should be. To playing a fighter because we needed muscle. And when I rolled up the template, it said gladiator. And I got like the first thing I saw was that montage from Conan the Barbarian. Oh, where he's just, so I was like, dude, that's how he's going to solve every fucking problem. That's how I'm playing this guy. So when I jumped through the portal after Erudite had made a pretty decent reaction check, I see
6 problems here. One of them is called peace.
I just started swinging.
Well,
Not only did I didn't even get to swing. I drew my sword, my second sword, and got cut down.
In Gary's defense, technically his character was not present when the reaction roll was, so he didn't even know technically that there had been any parlay. So it would have been metagamey for him to have automatically assumed it was okay.
We've been fighting.
So I give him that as a defense. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'm a button pushing, lever pulling son of a bitch. So put my character in, coach. I'll make a backup. But yeah, I've been a GM for 30 years. Like, I don't care about these little freaks I'm making. I've put them into the grist, man. Smear the walls with them. Let's do this.
I prefer systems now where I just press a button and I get a random dude. I don't even have to think about the dude.
Did I hear somebody here? Red Dead? You looking for Red Dead?
Gary likes Red Dead. I like Red Dead.
I was very much encouraging Chubby to do a sort of a Shadow Darky Red Dead style game.
I had made up some trade dress as a sample, and Gary
to fuck with me.
Gary was very excited about it.
You might be interested in a project I've been working on for a few years now, called Blood Prairie. It's Canadiana. It's not like American West, but it is. Right. It's Vampire Prairie, kind of Western. If you go to bloodprairie.com, actually, we're getting ready to kind of release the Ashcan. So yeah, it's going to be a free Ashcan player's book, and then that looks cool.
Yeah, this is what I made up for Gary to get him excited.
That's what does it.
But yeah, if you go check it out, we're gonna have a GM's guide and creature catalog all coming out relatively soon. Like Austin wrote it years ago. We've been playing it for a while now, play testing it and stuff.
Hey man, definitely. I'm on the website right now, and definitely feel free to reach out when you guys are closer to something, and we'll get you on the show.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we're pretty close now. We're just gonna be releasing it for really cheap or free, because we kind of want to get people playing it and getting feedback. And we'll probably kickstart in like 2028 or something if there's enough interest and excitement about it. What I really want to see is get some people making content for it, because I think it's a really interesting space to make content for, especially since like the way the summoning and the magic works is very unique. And I think people could really get a.
Gary, that's a great idea though with Second Watch, because Gabriel's one of those friends he's over in this group here, and then you guys are a different group over here, and now those groups are cross pollinating. He would be a solid guest.
Well, I got to tell you, we I don't want to call it networking because I fucking hate that. I don't work behind the desk, but it is always a good idea to make friends.
Yeah,
and
in high places.
And I think I'm pretty good about making friends. The problem is since I started doing the show and it's done fairly well, the real problem is that you find that in this hobby, you have a bunch of introverted, non-friend making type people. So it has become a challenge, sometimes to cross lines.
Yeah, crossing the streams. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I'm a pretty affable guy. Like I don't I have no problem making friends or being social or anything. But I agree, the introverted nature of the hobby has largely kept me from making close friends within the hobby. So like Mike's one of the few friends kind of in the YouTube and dungeon space that been able to like hang out with and spend time with. Will over at Runeforge Gaming's been really kind and hang out with him. I'm always in these discords and I'm in the creator spaces like all the time. I'm working with people to do game jams. We just did the Trip Tech game jam for Mothership. We shipped a game called Carving Ymir adventure module, and we're just always doing that kind of stuff. But like, my friends are like the friends I have here locally, and then just like a few people that I've met online or met through like making books and stuff. So yeah, it's nice to meet you.
I actually think it's not just the introvert extrovert thing, but it's a disagreeableness thing, which Howling Speaks just kind of commented on. There's this really great talk from Steve Jobs about how focus is about saying no. He's doing one of those big Apple conventions, and somebody was complaining about that they canceled some project, and he was like, look, we can't make everything simultaneously.
Yeah,
we can only make the things that we've chosen not to say no to. Like, so the more things we reject, the tighter our focus will become on the things that we do want to do very well. And if we have people, 5 people working on this and 5 people working on that, then it spreads that focus out, and we need to bring it in. Now, I think in order to get to the point where you're producing a huge amount of content yourself, like not necessarily Gods of the Forbidden North level of content, but like a significant amount of stuff, you have to say no to so many things. You have to just say, I'm not going to get into that game. I'm not going to get into that game. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. And the more you do that, you get a refined taste. That taste makes you reject even more things. So eventually you get to the point where you're like, I don't have the bandwidth to do Alien and Mothership. So since I'm already into Alien, I'm just not even going to get into Mothership. Like I don't have the time to do it. I'm into this, but I'm not going to be into that. And so it creates these barriers. And then the more you do that, the more you're prone to insult the things that you're not into and be like, well, I'm not going to, 5th edition sucks ass, so I'm not going to do it, or blah, 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 because you've chosen to do something else. I think that, and then the people who are really successful in kind of a marketing sense, a lot of times have really spicy takes, and that's why they get that circulation. But then that makes it very hard for them to collaborate with people. If I've come out and said, Gabriel's stuff sucks because blah, 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 mine is way better, then it's very hard for me to meet up with Gabriel and talk about doing a joint thing together. That's just reality.
That's actually not true. You can tell like, well, let me make it better, bro. But I am a collaborator, right? Like I am very much like, and in fact, one of the reasons the whole thing even kicked off was I was like, I want to make adventures, but I don't feel like a strong writer. So I reached out and was like, hey, do you know how to write? And my buddy Austin was like, yeah, I'm a technical writer. I was like, great. You ever want to write an adventure? He's like, yeah, let's do this. So I started working right away collaboratively because in my mind, no human endeavor has ever accomplished anything when it was done alone.
Yeah. But
Right. Like the pyramids were built by a lot of people, right? Anything of any significance has always had a lot of hands and eyes on it. And so learning to become a good collaborator to me is a more valuable tool than me actually learning how to read or write or draw. Not to say that I don't practice all those things, because I do want to become the kind of person who can deliver, award-winning. I think my stated goal is I want to deliver award-winning RPG content within my lifetime. Right. And so the exercise there is to practice that stuff on the way, learning how to work with others, accumulating friends that are really, really good at this stuff and can tell me when my stuff sucks. Right. That's hard to get. It's hard to get honest people
That's my
telling
number
you
one
your shit's not
criticism
good.
of the way that Wizards of the Coast makes things is that they're making them in a
Echo chamber.
bubble
Yeah.
with no feedback. At most, the feedback is coming from an editorial staff that's aligning a bunch of freelancers, right?
Yeah.
Rather than it being actually going out into the space and getting hard feedback, and that's why it's just not good. You can't make something, take nobody else's input at all, and then put it out and be like, "This is the greatest thing ever," and expect it to go off without a hitch. And that's just the way it is. I take hits all the time. I have no problem. Howling Sphinx is right. Lord Mattias would be in charge of the slaves of the pyramid building process. That is 100% correct.
He's a minion master. He's a new
Scheming
class.
bastard.
Minion master. Somebody needs to write up a class for him.
And I think one of the reasons why some of the things that get marked as like the best of 5e are because there's some third-party person who came in, like Tracy Hickman coming into Curse of Strahd, who provided at least some pushback on that. And I mean, we see it doesn't have to be in role-playing games. In like the Star Wars prequels, having George Lucas totally unchecked by his staff resulted in a lot of terrible decisions that if there had been somebody there to go, maybe we should pull this back a little bit, maybe we should adjust that, it would have been a better. But like anytime somebody does not getting good feedback, it will be bad.
Yeah. And yeah, speaking to your other point earlier, scope, right? Aligning scope and being like no to anything that isn't within the scope is the critical skill. That's the finisher, right? If you know what the scope is, you know when you're finished.
Yeah. Well, like I'm making a desert world. Coming up with ideas for encounters in the forest doesn't do much for me at all. Like
That's fair.
I can't. I have to just be like, that's not going to work, and just move on. Not invest time in developing that, or just write it down for later. But so many people get into the weeds on all of these different ideas that they have. It's very hard. There's people there. I'm sure there's a lot of people who would not have been able to take, because I have like 200 pages written on Kharazim, and just say, I'm going to put this on the shelf for like a year while I do other things because it's not working the way I want it to work. There's a lot of people who would have been like, I'm going to publish it even if it doesn't work exactly the way I want it to work because I need it for some reason. It's very hard to hold yourself to that standard as a publisher. And how many projects have they published where you're like, man, they should have spent another 6 months or a year working on this and polishing it up.
Yep. All right, I got a piece, guys. It's been nice hanging out.
Later, Gabriel.
See you later.
Erudite, is this a good time for us to wrap it up, or do you want to keep going?
No. I think we can go. I already got one look in the door for my wife. Like, going, are we gonna eat lunch, or you were having?
I'm gonna say I've only got so many hours before the pack comes back.
Right. No.
So hey,
no good, huh?
This was a lot of fun. I've pitched a morning show or a morning-ish show to Matt like 100 times, and he's like, "Nope, nobody will watch."
I would have the same criticism. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and then I went over, and he's like, "Yeah, but it's a holiday." And I'm like, "Yeah, but how many of you guys are retired or work from home or don't do shit during the day?"
This is like noon to 3 for West or East Coasters. I mean, it's not morning.
Yeah, it's before 5 o'clock.
Yeah, we're at 3 hours and 6
before
minutes.
5 p.m.
I know that you live in a different, time universe over there in Texas.
I live in the Gary time zone. That's what most people don't understand. What time zone are you in? Mine. But I'm always on time. I'm never late. I'm never late.
Punctual. I like that about you.
Anyway, guys, this has been fun.
I look forward to hanging out with both you monkeys at North Texas here. Some other
coming up, couple weeks, right?
Yeah, it's fast.
I think there's only one more second watch before that weekend. Then it's over. So
I'm glad you guys got to meet Gabriel as well.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
My house is emptying out, Mike. My printer is wrong way. My printer is back here, and all the books are gone off this bookshelf. There's just this stuff that needs to be packed.
Yeah.
We're trimming it down. And next weekend is the final exodus to the Outer Banks, and then I will be free of Georgia at last. It has been way too long. I've been in Georgia for 41 years now.
Yeah, we leave here June 27th, and we'll be driving over with the dog, and we're back and forth on do we need to tow a 4x8 U-Haul or can we get everything with the thing on top of the SUV. And my wife was just saying this morning, she's real into minimalization, and I am too. It's like, what can we do without? We really don't need that stuff we thought we'd need when we moved out of the house a couple of weeks ago. So it's good. We're doing the same process. So.
I've never had more stuff personally than I do right now. And then with the rest, now I have a fairly large family for these days anyway. It freaks me out the amount of crap we have. Like sometimes I just leave my fucking house.
Fetters and chains, Gary. Fetters.
It's horrible. Anyway. All right, guys. I got to get going, man.
Yeah,
right. This was fun. Chubby, thanks for jumping in, man. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
Memorial Day.
Second watch. Friday nights at 9:30 until me and Matt decide we're going back to our old bad boy ways and taking the show back to 10 p.m.
30-minute differential. This is bad boys.
At 9:30, the kids are at 9:30. The kids are just going down. At 10, they've been down a little while. Right at 10 o'clock, my house has already been quiet for. At 9:30, it's starting to get quiet
for me, bro. That's what I'm saying.
I'm
not on Dirty Texas time. I'm on real person time.
And the sad thing is I'm about to be on chubby time too. We're going to be out there in North Carolina now.
And we all know Erudite's not a real person. So that pokes a hole in that argument.
I'm an AI model.
Just kidding. I'm just joking with Erudite. All right, guys. I'm out of here. I am hovering my mouse button over the red dot. Right. Later, guys.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Oh, shit.